welcome, all our friends from Dead Aussie Gamer. Anybody that does not know Dead Aussie Gamer, you need to know them. They are absolutely fabulous, incredible storytellers, just beautiful. Um, so thank you all for coming. I would like to mention our delightful sponsor that we have in common is Hero Forge. We love Hero Forge because it allows you to level up your art game if, like me, you have absolutely no capacity with visual arts. You can take fabulous characters from your head and put them onto a screen and share them with the world. It's delightful. And then if you love them, you can actually get them turned into minis, and they will ship them to you right to your very doorstep. They will give you access to your own minis. It is delightful, and I love them for it. So thank you so much, Hero Forge. That is glorious. Because I was in it, I know that the Strahd campaign was fabulous. I cannot wait to see what happens when we try to resurrect Argynvost. That's going to be out of control. Today, here on Plain Nerd Allies, we are going to be doing our Session 0 for Campaign 3. I'm allowing the characters to shift up classes, abilities, because the whole world is changing, so that it will be, so that they can get the experience that they want. So you get to see what we do during our Session Zeros. So one of the big focuses that we have here on Session 0 is making sure that all the decisions that are made by the characters make sense for the character, that there's not just I like this mechanic and I want to be able to do it. You have to justify based on your character and your backstory and the actions that you've taken. You've got to justify what that looks like. So I think with no further ado, everybody hit exclamation point raffle. I almost forgot. If you want some Phoenix dice. Phoenix dice. I'm going to enter the raffle today because I have yet to win any Phoenix dice, and I want some Phoenix dice.
Go.
So I want the Jinn set, that fabulous light blue with the gold flecks. That looks amazing.
I already have it.
You're a monster.
Wow, what a mean thing to say.
You get a -5 to all your ability scores.
No, I've been cursed. Cursed by the Phoenix dice. Oh no.
And
you were just cursed because you were an asshole.
We are doing something special today. We have shifted up. Anytime you help support this stream, you're also helping to enhance the characters and give the players bonuses, all that kind of stuff. Because we're doing a Session 0, you can help craft the characters. So there is a new type of currency in the world called crystals. And what it is when all magic was suppressed in the world, that magic had to go somewhere. And it crystallized into these little crystals. So for every 100 bits that you throw, they'll get a common crystal, and they can combine those up as they get more and more and more to create new magic items that are formed from these crystals, because all the magic items are gone. It also is something that you are going to need to utilize in your spells. So if you want to cast a first level spell in this brave new world, you need to have a little baby crystal, a first level crystal in order to do it. That is going to be very interesting for this group because most of them are spellcasters.
I think we all are. We 100.
So,
yeah. We're kind of like we're embracing it.
With subs, every time we get 5 subs, one of the characters will get a +1 to one of their ability scores.
Cumulative subs, yes.
Yep. So we will do a poll, see which character gets it, and they will just immediately get to add a +1. And with donations, if we get up to any donations that you make help support this channel, help make sure that we can keep the lights on and pay rent, but also helps to support the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming, which is a close partner of ours. And for every $50 that gets donated today, we will give an extra feat to one of the characters that you will get to choose. And if any of this happens during a hype train, all of the stuff that happens in the hype train is doubled. So if we get a hype train going today, our characters will be very, very happy and get all kinds of fabulous bonuses. And thank you so much, Cotton Candy Unicorn, for our very first crystal. Oh, looks like we've got 2 crystals. That's delightful. We're starting off on we got a good speed going already. Dude. I love it. And now let's jump in to some fabulous character creation. Yay! All right. First thing I'm going to need from everybody is I'm going to need you to roll initiative to see what order we're going to go in.
All right.
So I'm not in roll 20 right now. So just roll on your own and you can roll in the chat. It's delightful.
12.
Well, that was me. You got 13.
Right.
Oh, 13. Yes.
And hey, Crow, what'd you got?
That is my first one was a 9.
A 9. All right, Athul, what'd you get?
12.16.
12.16. Okay, so it's gonna go Mike, Damian, Lando, and then Shadane. Fabulous. All right. First things first. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Oh my God, Phantom jumping in with an 1100 bits. Damn.
Hype train. Dropping all the crystals.
There you go. All right, and we've got a hype train going. So hey, everybody, all subs, all bits, all donations that you make during this hype train will be doubled for the players. So if you want to help the players create epic, fabulous characters today, now's the time to jump on in there. So, all right, let's start with race. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
What's your race?
My race is a Storm Half-Elf, Mark of the Storm Half-Elf.
Fabulous. And what bonuses do you get for the Storm Half-Elf?
So, I get Dark Vision, Fey Ancestry, so it gives me advantage from being charmed. I get a language. I get 2 and 1 for ability scores.
Okay.
The Wind Rights Intuition, so basically whenever I make a Dexterity Acrobatics check involving Navigator's tools, I can add a D4.
Absolutely.
Storm's Boon, so I have resistance to lightning damage. Headwinds, so I get the Gust cantrips, I can cast the Winds, so yeah, all that stuff doesn't matter. And then more spells from the Spell of the Mark. So...
Cool. All right, so it sounds like the thing that we need to choose right now, and is this Reginald?
This is Reginald.
Okay. The thing we need to choose right now is your language. What language are we picking?
I think I have Celestial right now, but I don't really think that...
Yeah, Reginald has not shown any sort of, connection to Celestial realms or any specific knowledge about it.
Yeah, that...
And in fact, it's shown pretty much the opposite with his book.
Well, yeah, I gave that book to someone else, so that's not Reginald anymore.
Well, but I'm saying that your character, the things that Reginald has done, there's literally no reason for me to give you Celestial because you've never shown any sort of...
It definitely shouldn't be in his race. So something that he should get before the campaign starts. But since the end of the campaign, he's focused a lot more on cleric, and we'll get into that later. But what should I pick for him right now?
Well, if this is your level 1, then this is all stuff that's going to be either from the campaign or from right before the campaign. So, things that you have shown a proclivity for are necromancy.
Nope, take that one away. Let's do draconic because the place where he's from, they worship dragons.
Absolutely cool. So you can do draconic. I love it. All right. Anything else for your race that you
Thank
need?
you for the 100 bits, Cotton Candy Unicorn.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
I think that's everything.
That's everything. Okay, cool. So, we've got your 2 stat pluses.
Yes. So I will be taking, surprising absolutely no one yet again, 2 into intelligence, and 1 into wisdom.
Okay. So, intelligence, I totally get. You have shown that you are a wizard, you've got a spell book, all that kind of stuff. That just totally makes sense to me. The wisdom component of it, where's that coming from?
So the wisdom in this context is coming from him trying to better understand the world around him. You know, trying to really, instead of the book smarts, to kind of step out of that part of him and just kind of understand other people.
Thank you, Dead Poet.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dead Poet, for the bits. And we just hit level 2 of a hype train.
Yo!
Yay! I love it. Remember, it's all going to be double. All right. So yes. So your wisdom.
So yeah, it's really just trying to get out of his head and understand things that are happening around him. Just get a better worldview in general.
Okay. All right. So learning more about the world, not centering on himself so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous. All right. Who is next? I think Damien, you are next. What's your race?
Well, I wasn't really prepared to change anything, so I'm just going to be sticking with good old Athul, who is an Illithid, recently turned Illithid Asimar. I don't know how that works in the New World Order.
That's going to be, okay, so the thing is that because you got turned into an Asimar, you wouldn't get like the sort of extra languages and stuff like that an Asimar does. But if you want to, you can shift up things like the languages that you have. What did you get for your race initially?
Initially, it gave me Undercommon and Deep Speech.
Okay.
And then I picked up Common and Primordial with Background.
All right, we're going to have to talk about Primordial. But we can get that. We can do that when we get to Background. Yeah, Undercommon and Deep Speech, absolutely, both of them are totally fine.
I'm sorry, it's not Primordial, it was Dwarven.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely, that's totally fine. You're living in a Dwarven mind. You absolutely would have picked some of that up.
And he's raised
by a dwarf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember that.
So, all right, cool. I feel like that's fabulous. So we're good there. And your bonuses, what did you pick?
I have no idea. I gotta go back through my sheet here. It has been so long.
Yeah, everybody pop up your sheet in D&D Beyond because we are going to be backtracking a bunch of stuff. So just be prepared. All right, well, you are looking for that. Jump on to Gorth if we need to. There is, all right, so
Duraxis,
Gorth.
yes.
Duraxis.
Yeah.
It's not Gorth. Gorth was yesterday. Duraxis.
Yeah, so Duraxis is and will still be a Dark Elf, a Drow.
Okay, cool.
The options they have, just the ability scores and then some proficiencies. For ability scores, I chose Charisma and Intelligence. Charisma,
Okay.
because, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was going to ask, where's the charisma coming from?
Yeah, the charisma coming from, specifically, what I've kind of understood charisma to be is just like the force of will, essentially. And Duraxis is...
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Force of will is actually wisdom. Like, that's sort of your willpower, the ability to, like, just forcibly shrug off the, like, assaults to your willpower. It's why it is used to determine whether you become drunk, or not drunk, sorry, whether you become charmed, things like that. It is a force of will. Charisma is the force of personality, the ability to, like, shine on, whenever you want to, things like that.
I kind of thought it was like enforcing your desires and your wills, and that's why there was like to put forth your own desires into the world. Essentially, it was kind of like what.
For me, that's very wisdom. Like that's the ability to shape that willpower. The charisma is much more the ability to interact with people, the ability to project your personal your personality onto a world. So maybe
Okay.
we're just using different words.
Maybe I think that's
But
what it is.
willpower
So
is very specifically attached to wisdom.
sure, okay. So for Daraxis, charisma comes in just his I can't really think of another word other than just like the uncaring about what exactly other people think in situations, and kind of like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm going to mess with the hags. I'm going to do this and that. I'm
Like
going
a-
to
An unshakable confidence, it seems.
yeah, along those lines.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you is, do you believe that Daraxis has shown unshakable confidence in the campaigns that they've been involved in?
Well, other than the specific things that are traumas for him, maybe no.
Yeah, I feel like Daraxis has not really shown that. So I'm questioning the choice of charisma. Because he also has not really shown the ability to he tends to be a little bit of a loner, you know, like he does things on his own, things like that. Is there, so just based on the personality that you have given, that you have developed for Daraxis, I understand that mechanically charisma is going to be very useful for him.
Well, it was also like he was a sorcerer, and like that was kind of the thing, and you know.
Well, so that's what I'm saying, though. Again, everything has to be justified based on choices that you have made in your campaign. You know, so
sure,
these are
and
things...
so that's why I was thinking that, you know, because when I was thinking of like how Daraxis relates to charisma as a sorcerer, it was like he just had magic and it just worked for him, and it just like that's kind of what I was thinking of, like willpower and this, like he's putting his desires into the world, and that's how I understood charisma, and that's how I had it relating to him being a sorcerer, where it was just an outpouring of his kind of magic.
So forcing the universe to conform to his desires.
Essentially, yes. That's kind of how I understood charisma to be, rather than...
So again, I'm going to push back on this, because even with your spellcasting, you don't have real control over it. You have massive amounts of wild surges coming, so your ability to actually inflict your will on the universe is not nearly as constant as, for instance, a wizard's or a sorcerer that isn't a wild magic
Sure,
sorcerer.
but I would push back and say that his touchstone allows him to do that. I would also say that the majority of the time he's able to control it, despite the craziness of the magic that he has to control in order to just function. He has to exert he doesn't always get it completely right, but his baseline level of control is much higher than everybody else's because his magic is so wild. Other people that had his magic wouldn't be able to control it as much because he has had to in order to cast any kind of thing.
No, that's legit. That's legit. Okay.
He's constantly trying to control chaos on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
To me, that seems like charisma.
I will give that. Yes.
I
don't know. I will. That explanation. Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Right,
I'm glad
so
we got
now-
to the same page, because I was like, I feel like I kind of know what I want. Like I'm thinking, but
Absolutely.
I appreciate you working with me there.
But I also know that you have a tendency towards like optimization over storytelling sometimes.
I often have to check myself, and I was like, I know I have a good. I feel like I had a good reason for that, and it took me a bit to get there.
So let's jump on to intelligence. All right, so
intelligence is specifically indicates the pivot that Daraxis has done. He's realizing now that because magic doesn't work it's kind of like someone that's always been smart and hasn't needed to study it all, and things have just kind of come naturally for him. So the wisdom specifically is the effort that he's put in to make his magic more effective, because before he was satisfied with his output and the things that he could do, and now he's like, wow, like I actually have to study in order for this to work. In order for me to actually be capable, I have to put in effort. And so it's been through his study.
So what I'll say is that this intelligence is coming from the fact that the world has changed and he's having to relearn.
Exactly, and having to adjust.
Okay, fabulous. What else?
So the origin proficiencies, there's 3 available. There's 2 that I for sure want. It's Alchemist Supplies and Poisoner's Kit. I feel like based on everything that Duraxis has done, I think that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
they
where he's
are.
going.
They definitely.
And then I basically have a 3rd one that I'm kind of like. I think actually originally when I created them, I just left it blank because there wasn't one that really felt right. I was looking at these a little bit earlier, and I didn't see one that I was like, yes, Duraxis has won. So I think for now, actually, is Glassblowers here? Because he's becoming an alchemist, definitely is going to try to make his glass. Where's Glassblowers? Okay. The 3rd one's going to be Glassblowers. I don't know why it's not showing up, but
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, fabulous. So you can have Glassblowers tools. You can learn from one of the artisans in the halls of industry how to make that happen. Absolutely, I love it. All right, cool. So who do we have left? We just have Ithul. Did you figure out what your bonuses were?
Yes. Since I went with Tasha's custom lineage thing back at the beginning, it just gives you +2 to an ability score, so I ended up plugging that into charisma because my stat rolls weren't the greatest in the world.
Okay.
And then it gives me a feat and a dark vision, and then for the feat I took the telekinetic feat.
All right, so telekinetic, absolutely, you're an illithid, lots of psionic power, totally. There's, for the charisma, do you believe that Ithul, explain to me where that's coming from?
Mostly his dad teaching him how to interact with people.
Okay, so having to learn how to hide in plain sight, essentially.
Yeah, essentially becoming like a non-illithid member of society and pretending that he's not really a monster.
Fabulous. Having to charm people, and I will say that owning a tavern absolutely would amplify that as well. Yeah, having to interact with all kinds of different people all the time for your livelihood definitely would have
definitely come out of his shell more since the beginning of all this crazy wackiness.
Yeah. So let's see. So you got, and the telekinetic feat, that's the one that is your flavor feat, right?
Yeah, that's the one I've had since the beginning. That gives me like an extended range on like a telekinetic shove, so I can push someone 5 feet or so if I want to, and stuff like that.
Fabulous. All right, cool. Awesome. Let's do. Hey, Mike, what is your flavor feat?
My flavor feat is going to be Prodigy.
Okay.
And this is something that Reginald really discovered when he was growing up around a bunch of different sorcerers. But instead of just automatically being able to understand magic and use magic, he was much better at understanding the written text and research, and also learning like the makeup of spells. So not exactly casting spells, but how the runes themselves work. So what I chose.
So what does Prodigy give you?
So yeah, let's go over all of it. So Prodigy gives you a language, it gives you a skill, it gives you expertise in a skill, and it gives you a proficiency in a tool or something like that.
Okay, so let's go first the language, because what you've just told me is that you gained this because you were a prodigy with written magic. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's going to have to be a language that magic is written in. So which one are you choosing?
So give me like 3 choices.
Draconic is the classic. Giant is one of them, and then you could pick either Abyssal or Infernal. Probably
Abyssal
Infernal.
Infernal. I'll do Infernal then, because I think if I'm not wrong, isn't Giant written in Dwarvish?
The Giant is its own
Giant's
thing,
his own
right?
with. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it got
Because
its
Giant-
script from
no,
Dwarvish.
Giants predate the dwarves by like thousands of years.
So you said Infernal?
Yeah, Infernal, Draconic, or Giant.
Cool. I'll pick Infernal.
Fabulous. All right, so that's your language.
Mhm.
There is, because those are the tomes that you were studying the most. Tell me what skill you're going to grab from that.
I'm gonna choose Investigation.
Okay, that totally makes sense because
Yeah.
as you're like investigating libraries to find books about different subjects, absolutely, 100%. And what are you getting expertise in?
Arcana.
Okay, that's totally fine. You're a studied mage, absolutely. And what's the final one?
The final one is a tool proficiency, but instead of that, it also gives me like a game. So I'm just choosing Dragon Chess.
Okay, absolutely. We
Mm.
can do that. I love it. Okay, cool. Fabulous. And what about Diraxis? What's your flavor feat?
My flavor fleet is Mage Slayer or no. Yeah, Mage Slayer. And it specifically came from one specific event that we dived in when Diraxis escaped from I don't think we ever named the city. Maybe we did. Basically when he was a slave, we had that whole scene so long ago where he essentially was right up next to people and just detonating on people in order to escape. And I remember you saying specifically, wouldn't it be funny if you had Mage Slayer because you never attack anybody? And I was like, yeah, that'd be funny. And I was like, it makes
There
sense.
Okay, so essentially it comes from an understanding of the way that mages work.
Yeah.
And being able to counter that.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. We can do that. And now, hey, Shadane.
Hey, we have a couple of things because we skipped me on the first go round.
No. This is still the first go around because this is all stuff that happens like with the race. So
okay.
the flavor feat I consider part of that too.
All right, no problem then. Okay, for
No,
the
but
ra-
I am gonna skip you. So
Oh, all right,
right.
yeah, sure.
Good job.
Hey, yo, let's go back to you, buddy. Pah!
yes. All right. So what race are we picking?
Orc, baby. Even
Fabulous.
though he's like has the physical resemblances of a dragonborn, something that he's going to be desperately trying to solve.
Why though?
Because he's an orc at the beginning and end of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
He's an orc first and foremost.
But he's
Part
finally
of an
the
orc
dragons he loves
in-
so much.
He loves dragons, but he cherishes his orcish heritage like more than anything, especially with the fact that Crow in this season is definitely going to be trying to claim a new identity for the orcish people that have been kind of sent across the four winds all over the continent after being ousted from their home country. He is going to be desperately trying to like reconnect with that part of himself and also lead a new path for the orcs that are kind of without a way right now.
I love it. Okay, cool. So we've got orc. What does that come with?
Thanks to Morikaman's new book, I get Adrenaline Rush, which lets me take the dodge action as bonus action, my proficiency bonus times a day. Gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. What? Okay, I just read that secondary part. That's pretty cool. Dark
that?
Vision. The full thing reads, you can take the dash action as a bonus action. When you use this, you can use this trait a number of times to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Whenever you use this trait, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Dark Vision, Relentless Endurance, which allows me to get back up again.
I'll back up. Okay.
if someone pops you down to 0 once per long rest. And then languages, common, and for the additional one, it's gonna be Orcish, baby.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Where are you putting your bonuses to your abilities?
So it's going to end up being a +2 to his wisdom. Crow had no choice really, but to acquaint himself to the natural world. He grew up in Non-Ked, a land ruled by Thrall's lust for survival and strife, and he had to learn how to live off the land and use it both as his weapon and shield while within that within that country. He's taken that with him as he's ventured beyond the borders of Non-Ked. And
Absolutely.
a +1 to intelligence, because Crow, no matter what, has always devoted himself to study. First, it was the study of plants, learning how to craft poison, then the study of his people, learning the old ways of Orcish necromancy, then dragons, communicating with draconic spirits, forming unbreakable bonds with them, and then finally the primal forces of the elemental chaos, utilizing his connection to the heart of the sky in increasingly unique ways. Crow is fundamentally an inquisitive and curious person, prone to investigation and study.
Fabulous. Absolutely. I'm 100% on both of those. I love it. There is, let's see, so what is your flavor feat?
The flavor feed is still going to be a holdover from the first time I got a flavor feed, which is going to be Poison Craft. The Poison Brigade got a name for a reason.
That's right. We got this. You grew up in a swamp with a bunch of poisonous plants.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so what does that give you?
Let me just give me one hot and just put up. Yeah. Since I have the poisoner feat, whenever I make a damage roll that deals poison, it ignores resistance to that. You can apply poison to a weapon or a piece of ammunition as a bonus action instead of an action, and you gain the proficiency with the poisoner's kit if you don't already have it, with 1 hour of work using a poisoner's kit and expending 50 gold pieces of materials. I can create a number of doses of poison, potent poison equal to my proficiency bonus. Once applied to a weapon or ammunition, the poison retains its potency for 1 minute or until I hit with a weapon.
So we've got poisoned weapons. We can create poisons, all of that good stuff.
All of that sweet poison goodies.
We'll be good friends.
Yeah. Do you and Duraxis, do you all share like a lab?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
I think there's a workshop where we all share knowledge and resources.
Well, don't forget you live in the hunter's house, so there are plenty of spaces.
We're Delvers now, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah.
You live in the
I mean,
apartments, but
Yeah.
we'll have a building for you.
You guys had to move. I'm sorry.
You'd be like, we got kicked out. We got kicked out of our
characters in 24 hours.
But we're all like super nerds, and so we're all in like, be like,
We need
oh
a
my
tower.
gosh, I just discovered this.
Yeah, we need
check
a-
this out.
We need a tower. We need to commission
tower.
a goddamn tower to be built.
Well, do you want to petition Cordon for a tower?
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
can we still use magic in the city?
Yeah.
Can we?
So Delvers. So what happened is because
That's a great
of
question.
the fact that the entire city is controlled by a planar touchstone, and which is the throne of the Dwarven King, and Peregrine is attached to the Black Bulwark, which stops any magic or anything from entering the space. The two of those combined protected Delver's Dream from the suppression of magic. So magic still works normally in Delver's Dream, no problem. But if ever the Dwarven King loses control of his touchstone, or if Peregrine leaves Delver's Dream, if either of those things happen, then the suppression will start in Delver's Dream.
And then just if they come back, is it like a one-time thing that comes in, or is that just lore for later?
No, at that point you would be trying to fight a god's influence.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so it protected from it initially, and as long as it's still up, it'll keep protecting it.
Yeah.
But as soon as it's down, it won't like revert.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say, Reginald has Fabricate and Galder's Tower, so they could make something work.
It makes what?
If we wanted to build a tower,
Galder's Tower, is that one of those where if you cast it every day, it becomes permanent?
yeah, if you cast it in the same place for a certain amount of time, it becomes permanent. And he
Yeah,
also
it
has
is for a year.
Fabricate. He also has Fabricate, so like Corton keeps supplies around, so he can just bamf out a building. So.
Oh yeah. No, but don't forget, your Fabricate is not nearly as powerful as
Right,
Corton.
right,
Well,
right.
does
right.
Corton can, I mean, maybe again, this is maybe a lore thing for later, but Corton doesn't technically have a stone anymore. Is he able to cast magic?
Well,
Yeah,
well,
because he's
even
inside
Delphus.
Delta Stream.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we'll have
Okay.
to get him to build us a tower.
Yeah, so Corton can still do, as long as he's inside Delver Stream, he can still do all the things he did before. He's just now a robot person.
Mhm.
A robot person with an insane amount of magic.
Oh, and I just want to clarify for the lore of the world. As soon as Daraxis was able to do his touchstone, he made something else bigger so that people didn't get used to the fact that they had enhanced hemoglobin for too long, because that could be an issue. So, he just like made like a rock like bigger or something. He basically just changed it so that it wouldn't be months and months before people are like, oh, now I can't run up, and they got used to it, and yeah. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. he switched the
Yes,
game
all right.
to something
Thank
else.
you. There's
Got it.
so we've got
That feels important.
there is, I will say, we just spent a half an hour going through just the race. So we are going to need to speed this up, please,
Well,
so that we can get through everything on this stream, because Mike is going to need to leave soon. So let's please be respectful of his time. First level, everybody has got Gestalt characters of 9th level. So first level, we're going to make a bunch of decisions. So let's start there with Mike.
Yes.
What
so
happened first level?
first level, we're gonna keep Wizard and Cleric. First level for Wizard, you get to do almost nothing. You get to choose proficiencies.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, what proficiencies are we looking at?
So, realistically, the only two that I can choose from, because a lot of the other skills that I can choose are taken up by different other abilities scores. So, it's going to be Insight and Medicine.
Okay. So,
Medicine is going to be strictly clinical, like he's going to have an understanding of like different poultices and stuff like
what
that.
else? So, actually, what I'm gonna say is, because like, it's never been sort of indicated that Reginald has ever studied medicine. But what I will say is, in the study of your book that has necromantic rituals to convert people to different creatures, you would have things about anatomy, and it would have, like, here's how you do this, bone structure, muscular structure, nerve ending, stuff like that. So you can absolutely have an anatomical understanding of a whole slew of different creatures based on your study of this book. But you're not going to have a whole lot of practical medicinal knowledge. So what I'll say is, you're going to get a special feature.
All right.
What this is if you need to study up on weaknesses for a creature, you'll have advantage on that because of your understanding of anatomy. But trying to identify natively in the wild weaknesses for creatures, you will have disadvantage on, because you're not used to actually fighting them. You're used to seeing them on a page.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you can definitely go and, like, if, let's say, you're going to have to fight a dragon or something, you can go and check out, you can go study it, learn its weaknesses, let everybody else know what those weaknesses are. But if you just ran into a dragon in the wild trying to figure out what weakness it's going to have, is you're just in the middle of a fight and you're not going to have the
It's not
time.
gonna be great. Yeah.
All right, fabulous. So now Insight. Talk to me about Insight.
Insight, I think it can go kind of hand in hand with his study. Like he doesn't know exactly, like he's got the book knowledge of like psychology and to be able to understand people in that sense.
Okay, so
So he's very
where
much
did you
an
get this-
anthropologist.
Well-
He travels, and every time he goes around, he tries to learn from people.
we are touching on like a whole bunch of different subjects, and this is something that I've seen you do in our session zeros, where if I don't give you the facial expression that you want, you will then immediately try.
I
to-
actually don't have your picture up, so I don't have your
Okay,
video up.
sure. There's. But let's concentrate on psychology,
Okay.
because anthropology is a completely different study. So there is. When did you start studying other people? And what I want to know is very specifically: is this a new study that you have generated, or is there a place that you come from where psychology is actually a science?
Definitely where he comes from. It started out as him just trying to understand like why everybody liked his brothers so much.
Mhm.
And then like just studying what they did and just the ability to kind of recreate that in some kind of clinical way. Because he himself doesn't really understand that kind of thing from a personal level.
Sure. Okay. I can see that. So it comes from long years of study of pattern recognition.
Yes, 100% that.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. There is what I will say then is if you are trying to deal with somebody, if you're trying to use insight to discover something about a race or creature or something like that you have studied, you'll have advantage on it, or that you've like spent time with, you'll have advantage on them. But anything that you have not studied or been a part of, you'll have disadvantage. Because it's based on specifically recognizing those patterns. All right, anything else for first level for wizard?
Not for wizard, it's just the proficiencies.
And then
Okay.
what do you get for the other one?
For cleric, you actually get your divine domain.
Ooh, fancy. All right, and what's
Big.
your divine domain?
So, going into this, he had the Tempest domain, and that, I think, has fallen away. I think he no longer believes in the... I think he, in some way, fears the raw, unadulterated energy that comes from the Tempest domain. And I think what he saw in Wisdom was much more personal to him from his experiences in life being a studied person. So I think he's going to shift over to the knowledge domain.
Okay, fabulous. All right, cool. So if you're going to switch over to the knowledge domain, which deity are you going to be worshiping?
I think the only one that I would know on this plane is Wisdom himself.
Okay, all right. So we now have a worshiper of wisdom in a city with two constructs that wisdom created and then abandoned. So you and Corton
Hey, man.
probably gonna have like a built-in sort of like issue with each other. Don't be scared. Also, do not be scared of interpersonal or intrapersonal
No,
conflict.
I was
Always
gonna say like that.
freeze.
Yeah, I mean absolutely, because I feel like this is a choice that he's making 100% as a selfish choice,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
he understands that there will be consequences.
Cortan's gonna be pissed because he just thinks you're a fanboy and like a bandwagoner.
Maybe, yeah.
Like,
Legit.
really?
Really? Yeah.
The guy
God.
that was just ready to just kill me like a day ago, you're gonna start worshiping them.
Yeah, you're gonna
Okay.
start like really.
So my question is, because there's obviously not a temple to wisdom anywhere in Delver's Dream, are you going to try to build one?
Abso-freaking-lutely. That sounds
Okay.
like a
Uh,
fun thing.
And since you've got Fabricate, I will say that you can absolutely try to build a Temple to Wisdom, and every day you find it defaced in some way or reshaped in some way. Because
So funny. So petty.
Yeah.
So you and
Set
Coruscant.
a
So
award
this is-
there.
What I'm gonna say is, I would like you to remind me of this at the beginning of sessions. Every session, we are going to have to go do a little flash over to the temple and see what new ridiculousness is happening with the temple that day. So that'll be lovely. All right, so you are now a worshiper of wisdom.
Yes.
The god saved the Patchwork Planet and created the Patchwork Planet, and has now suppressed magic.
Mhm.
That's very interesting.
I think it's gonna be dope, man. I think I'm gonna have so much fun.
I think that what is your proficiency bonus
Proficiency bonus specifically for what?
for your total level? What's your proficiency bonus?
Oh, my proficiency bonus. Oh, it's going to be
Maybe
6 plus 6.
Jesus Christ. No. You're Gestalt. You're not 18th level. You're 9th level, which means your proficiency bonus should be, I think, plus 4.
I don't know if there's a way to change that, honestly. I'm looking at it right now. At least
Not in D&D Beyond, but in Roll20 there is. I can show you guys.
Okay. So we'll say that your proficiency bonus is actually plus 4 because I think that's what you get at level 9.
Yeah, it should be 4 plus 4.
So what I'm going to say is that 4 times a day, you can cast, because you are a worshiper of wisdom, 4 times per day for 1 round, you can negate the magic suppression.
For a round?
For 1 round, so it'll be a total of 4 rounds a day, you can negate the magic suppression and cast your spells regularly.
Looks like I got gems to spare for everybody else, crystals to spare for everybody
Is that
else.
like a time
That's-
thing, or like you could be like, I'm gonna cast this one spell, like for free, kind of deal?
For a
But it's
round.
not a spell for free.
For a round.
It's not free spells, it's just they're not suppressed. You don't need to use crystals to cast.
Okay.
I get stuff for Knowledge Domain at level 1 as well.
What do you get?
So you get 2 languages, and you get you get double proficiency in 2. You get proficiency in 2 things, and you also double them.
Okay, so first off, languages. What I'm going to say is because, again, the only thing that you've studied is
Wait.
your...
This is a
Books
new
of-
thing, so it's going to be Dwarvish and Goblin.
Okay, Dwarvish, absolutely. Yes, we can do Goblin too. Okay. If you spend now, what I'm going to say is your first month, you're going to need to spend a lot of your time in Delver's Stream in order to learn Goblin.
Yeah, I think I'm going to spend all of the time in Delvers for the first month. I'm not venturing out. You kidding me? It's scary out there. There's no magic.
Right. It is a little terrifying. That's true. All right, cool. So you've got Dwarvish and Goblin, and what are and you get 2 proficiencies?
Yes. So I got religion and history.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. You can have both of those. Religion, since you were a cleric before, totally fine. You would have had that anyway. Cool, fabulous. Anything else? Any other choices at level 1?
That's it.
All right, fabulous. Damien!
Hello.
Level 1. What choices do we have?
Well, now for Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, since I'm not really changing anything, it's mostly it gives me all the aberration-based
level 1?
abilities.
Because I think don't you get that at level 2 or 3 for Sorcerer?
No, Sorcerer. Well, no, because Sorcerers, all their magic all their
Oh, it's
abilities
level
come
1.
from
Never
their
mind,
blood. That's
yeah.
right.
All right, cool.
But,
So level 1. Well, let's go through it. So level 1.
So, it lets you get 2 skills, and For him, same reasoning as before when we first created him. Arcana because he loves magic, and Insight because he's practicing how to interact and understand people,
Yeah.
while trying to be subtle about it.
I am going to say, because you have studied people for so long in order to hide from them effectively, that and because you are essentially deceiving people all the time, that you'll have advantage on any rolls against deception.
Against deception, or like for my own deception?
Against deception. So it's because you chose insight, so you'll get advantage on your insight rolls against deception because you're so well versed.
Gotcha.
All right, what else do we have for level 1?
Well, the Sorceress Origin, of course, is chock full of psionic goodness.
Your crazy brain.
Yeah, my crazy brain. Starting out, it essentially just like for first level spells lets me get Arms of Hadar, Dissonant Whispers, and Mind Sliver. Then once that gets up to third level, it gives me
So let's
calm
just deal
emotions
with first level, and we
detect
don't
thoughts.
need to deal with. So just first level, and we don't need to deal with any spells at all. So there's So what are the other things that you get with first level?
Telepathic speech. You can form a telepathic connection between your mind and the mind of another. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You can choose a creature and speak telepathically with it for the next minute.
Cool. Thank you. All right, so that totally makes sense as a with a mind flayer. Fabulous. What else do we get?
That is a second level. That is all for first level, not counting spells.
All right, and what are we choosing for our other?
For good old Paladin here, aside from just kind of bolstering my my toughness as just in general, the Divine Sense, which essentially lets me detect good or evil creatures by like scent and stuff like that. That's pretty much a classic. I got my Lay on Hands, which lets me heal 5 points for every Paladin level. Or I can use 5 points to cure a disease or a poison.
Okay, for that, what I want to know about that, because this is something that I've been meaning to ask you for a while, where does that healing come from? How are you accomplishing that?
He's been studying the concept of love, trying to, because emotions are a very foreign thing to illithids, despite their immense mental abilities. But as he's learned more about the concept of love, he's at first with Lay on Hands, he was channeling Sune's love. And as time's gone on, he's realized that now he's more or less just channeling his own compassion and love.
Okay, fabulous. So his heart has grown 3 sizes.
Yes, it has.
I love it. What else do we get for Paladin at first level?
I don't know why it says that's first level. That's a second level choice.
Thank you for the follow, Beelzebub's Ascent.
I think aside from they don't get magic yet at first level, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the Paladin.
All right, hey Duraxis, tell me all about your first level.
Yeah, so I'm going Warlock Artificer.
Cool.
So I get Patronate at first level for Warlock. So I would ask, can we go into the other room? And because there's some things I'd like to discuss.
Absolutely. So what that means is Lando and I are going to have a little chat. Everybody else, please deafen yourselves. And when we're done, Lando will send you a message and you can pop back in because we're going to tell each other secrets.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right.
All right, fabulous. So who's this patron?
Oh, I messed up this slide. That's fine. Okay, we can see each other. I apologize for the jankiness of this. It was adjusted for. Oh, actually, hold on 1 sec. I can fix this. There we go. Hold on. Cool. There we go. Done. Okay.
All right, fabulous.
So, the patron is kind of the interesting thing for Duraxis. During the course of the last couple sessions, or not last couple sessions, like the last 10 sessions for Hunter's Harvest, I had this idea in my head where if Duraxis was really truly in danger of dying, like doing death saves, that at some point he would call out to Mephistopheles, and offer his soul to Mephistopheles in exchange for the power to survive, but it never happened. And so I'd still like to have that kind of be a storyline, but I feel like it's important for Draxus's character to have that be a thing that feels like this tragic kind of last ditch effort kind of thing, because his ultimate
Okay.
goal is to kill Lolth. So
So,
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know if I want to start out as that. But
okay. So
there's
what I'm gonna say is that if your ultimate goal is to kill Lulz, you would not call out to Mephistopheles, because Mephistopheles doesn't really give a shit about Lulz. Mephistopheles cares about destroying Asmodeus.
even though they're in the Blood War, that doesn't make a difference to him at all.
The what?
Like that she's in the demon pits or whatever, and he's a
He doesn't
devil.
care.
Okay.
He's been working for thousands of years to overthrow Asmodeus. That is his one goal.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is to become is either to any chance he can screw Asmodeus over, he will.
Gotcha.
And chance that he can gain power in the Hells, he will.
Okay.
But there is the character already in season 1 that we showed hates Lulz and has been in conflict with her for as long as we can remember, and that is Glacia.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Because
And Glacia is now in Delver's dream.
So there's an aspect of Drax's character that feels important, where it feels important to have this like signing over of his soul be a thing where it kind of comes from despair, it kind of comes from hopelessness, and it's not something that he's like in a good state of mind does it. And that's kind of what I was like, if Draxus is really seriously injured and like is going to die, that's what triggers it. So I don't know if we want to have like a substitute patron right now and then let that play out during the campaign when that happens to Draxus, or just do it now. And I'm kind of like,
so what I will say is, because you already have a pre-established relationship with Glacia, we can retcon something so that at some point during the campaign you did call out to her, like maybe when you were down in the demon web pits, or maybe when you were being like beaten up by the matron or something like that.
Okay.
That there would be.
Yeah. I mean, I was hoping to like role play it out, but that's fine. We can retcon it.
Well, no, we can absolutely role play it out eventually when you figure out what that is. We can do a flashback.
Yes, or like reveal, like when it gets revealed to the rest of the party, like we can. Okay, cool. Because that honestly,
so what we'll do,
I want it to be tragic. Like that's important.
Sure, absolutely.
It's sad.
Because you're a messy bitch who lives for drama. Absolutely. There's so I think there is what we can do is, so you'll be your patron will be the Fiend.
Yeah.
It will be specifically Glacia.
Yeah.
And we will reveal to the party what that means later on.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So for now, in terms of like actually selecting it, so I just select Fiend. No, that's
so it's just Fiend.
Okay.
Yep. Right. And everybody else can come back in now. Let's say hey to everybody again.
Now they won't be able to hear. Hold on,
let us look at. So, Landon, there is. Tell me, what do we get at first level?
Okay, sorry, hold on. Let me get us back real quick. And okay, and I don't think everybody knows. Back, guys. Good, we're good. Okay, so first level for. Pull myself together a little bit. We get pack mat. There's no choices for proficiencies. That's what I was looking for.
Yes. All right.
So the ones I have right now, and I think they still work, are religion and deception. Religion specifically, we had talked about before. Essentially, he was the slave of deception. He is a drow. He has to kind of survive. We specifically honed in on his experience as a slave, and him needing specifically the relationship with the person that taught him alchemy and the kind of deception they had to do in order for him to learn that. and those kind of
So
things.
staying hidden, so lying
Essentially.
about like what you were doing. Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
specifically. So
What I will say for that is if you are trying to deceive somebody and you are utilizing some aspect of a room, so like shifting furniture around, creating a secret space, hiding behind furniture, like things like that. If you're utilizing any of those things, you can have advantage on your deception roll.
Yeah.
Anything else for first level for Warlock?
Nope, that's it. I mean, I get some features specific to the subclass, but I'm not talking about those. Well, I mean, it gives it away. It gives away the subclass, so I'm not going to say it. It's not a choice. It's just a feature.
It's the Fiend. We all know it's your Warlock of the Fiend. That's fine.
Okay.
We don't know what's going on there, but we know you're a Warlock of the Fiend.
That's fine. Okay. I didn't know how much we wanted to. Anyway. Yeah. So when you reduce all creatures to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. That's Dark One's Blessing.
All right.
So.
Fabulous.
And then Artificer. Artificer, there's no choices. You get some extra proficiencies, but they're locked in because it's a secondary class, essentially. And I get Magical Tinkering, which that's an important kind of thing to maybe talk about. It doesn't have to be at this point, but how that works in this world, essentially.
So Magical Tinkering, well, so it's one of those things. So Magical Tinkering, what is it?
Magical Tinkering is you can imbue magic into mundane objects and do a number of features. You can have it be a little light, you can have it make a sound, or words.
Absolutely. So that's very easy with that because it's tinkering and you are an artificer. You can create a mechanical reason that it happens instead of a magical reason.
So he's gonna be alchemist. So I'm like, it's gonna be like bio kind of chemical kind of. Maybe a little less towards mechanical and more like elements and things. So that's gonna be his flavor.
So what I want you to look at is I want you to look at the things that you can do with the magical tinkering, because you know me, I will absolutely shut it down if it doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Or if it breaks the lore. So if you're dealing with biological substances instead of mechanical things, I'm going to need you to look at spaces in nature where those things are happening.
It's not going to be fully ignoring mechanical stuff, but that's just leaning. So, you know.
So what I'm saying is that I'm going to need you to bring some actual explanations.
No, that's fine.
You know, so for instance, like if it's light or something like that, a bioluminescent bacteria.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Something like that. There is, all right, anything else for Artificer?
Nope. That's it.
All right, awesome. Hey, Shade.
Heyo.
So tell me about your level ones.
So my level ones, let's start off with the one that's gonna maintain the same. It's gonna be Ranger. Crow has always been a spelunking boy. He's become more of a spelunking boy since he's become attuned to the heart of the sky, making it quite difficult for him to take up permanent lodging anywhere. And so going across the lands and wandering and the like has become a mode of being for him. It's just how his life is right now. And from being a ranger, I get the Depth Explorer feature, which gives me 2 languages and a skill.
What languages?
The first one is going to end up being Primordial, the language of elementals, as he has become attuned to one and began especially after the finale, has begun to focus further into his connection with the heart of the sky and primal energies. And the second language, big ol' question mark, because like all the other languages I could think of, he already has from other things.
So let's look at this. So Crow You've got your primordial. You've been hanging out in Delver Stream.
True.
So you have access to a bunch of different creatures. So you would have access to dwarves, you'd have access to elves, goblins, you'd have access to...
If possible, could I, like, here's it, because I and Crow are like-minded in this, as we just have like a big old heart for Granny. Could I get Gnomish? Could I just be hanging out with,
Absolutely.
Like, Granny? Okay.
100%, yeah. You and Granny, like, spending all that time with Granny, you know, she taught you some basic things, and there's huge libraries at Delver Stream, so you could, like, teach yourself more. 100%. And all right, great. So we've got two languages.
Those are both the language, and for the skill, yada yada, gain proficiency. Yeah, and for the skill that I chose to gain proficiency in, it is investigation.
Okay, where is that coming from?
Just it's more so focused, especially on research rather than like casing a joint or like going through and like looking through a room for what might be there. It's more so his knack for studying and like looking into information and history and recall in books and like the book of that I don't believe we ever gave it a solid name, but like the book that had all the lore on Orchid, like on Orcish necromancy, like that he had been studying, and as well as the other various aspects of his like interests that he takes up residence in, like the libraries and studies to kind of figure out information.
So is your investigation centered on trying to find the Orcish temple?
It definitely was.
Okay.
If
that's the case, then what we can do is any investigation checks that have to do with any sort of cartography or maps or geography, absolutely. Also investigation checks that have to do with like history or research, you can have advantage on. And then you'll just do all the other investigation checks normally.
All
right, fabulous. What else do we have?
All right. And that's, we also get a proficiency. We also get a proficiency from being a ranger. And the one that we ended up choosing from that was investigation. So my investigation was just like doubled, essentially, like got expertise with the deft explorer.
Awesome.
All right. Now moving on to the second class. Crow has gone through a bit of a pivotal moment after the finale. After witnessing the death of Corton, he quite literally said aloud to himself, "No more death." And in doing so, kind of going on a journey of self-rediscovery of what it means for him to be an orc, divorced from kind of necromancy and that aspect of himself. And he ended up going and turning to the elementals, the primal source that he's become acquainted with, and has gone down the path of a druid. So druid is the next class.
Cool.
Go on.
So first level, what do we get?
First level, we get, of course, some 2 proficiencies, which he took in survival and in nature for reasons I hope have become self-evident at this point.
Survival, absolutely, because you were wandering around in the wilderness for a long time. And yeah, nature, absolutely, because the same thing. So you can have it for both of those, yeah. That's totally fine.
He also learns Druidic, the secret language of the Druids,
So now,
Uh,
who were you studying with?
Oh, absolutely. He would have gone to the Dreamers and communing with them.
Fabulous. And so is that all you get at first level?
Yeah, that ends spellcasting. That'd be it for our dear boy.
All right, fabulous. All right, that means we are up to second level. Hey, Mike.
Ooh, this is where the fun begins. So, second level for Wizard, I get the Wizardly Quill, the Awakened Spellbook. And for Cleric, I get the Channel Divinity, Harness Divine Power, and Knowledge of the Ages, but no real choices.
Okay, so divine power, in this situation, you have to make a choice, right?
Mhm.
Whether you're going to channel positive or negative. Or am I thinking 3.5?
I think you're thinking 3.5. This is
Okay.
basically how wizards gain spell slots back. It's
You
like
mean
the same thing.
clerics?
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's equivalent to how
Oh,
wizards.
I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There is all right, cool. So, and then what is Wisdom of the Ages?
Knowledge of the Ages is basically you tap into the divine well of knowledge, and as a bonus action, you can gain proficiency in a tool of your choice. I was thinking instead of like the Wellspring, which is definitely Nemesine, I was thinking it could be more themed towards wisdom.
Well, I think that you could, like, we can reskin all of it from knowledge-based to wisdom-based. So it can be the Wisdom of the Ages, where you intuitively understand how a thing works and therefore can act as though you have that tool available to you.
Dope. I like it.
So that'll be fun. All right. Anything else for second level?
Nope, that's it.
All right, fabulous. Hey, Damian, what's going on over there at second level?
Well, for Sorcerer, that's when the good old font of magic starts to kick in, and I gain my sorcery points and my ability to use them to exchange them for spell slots. But
Okay, so
if we could do that with like the crystals as an intermediary, or what?
First, there's a couple of things. So first, sorcery points. What are the meta magic feats that you're going to take?
The meta magics he has are Subtle Spell and Twin Spell. Subtle Spell he's gotten good mileage out of.
Yes, absolutely he has. Have you used Twin Spell much?
Yes, I primarily use it to twin cast haste.
Okay, fabulous. All right, cool. So we've got that. As far as sorcery points go, sorcery points are going to be their own thing, because what they're doing is they are taking the magical energy and modifying it instead of trying to create magical energy. So you don't have to worry about those for crystals. What I will say is that if you want to try to convert sorcery points into spell slots, it'll take twice as many.
I mean, I guess that still works.
All right, so that's sorcerers. What do you get for paladin at second level?
Scrolling. That is when the paladin starts to get their spell casting, and they also get their fighting style. And for him, I chose dueling, which is when you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you get a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. I don't think I've ever actually paid enough attention to actually. Oh no, actually, yeah, I have. I already added that to Frostbane, but yeah, that's Frostbane, and I don't have it anymore.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense, yeah, because you use Frostbane so often. All right, cool, absolutely. Love that. That makes total sense. All right, anything else for second level?
Divine Smites.
Ooh, yes. So now Divine Smites use spell slots.
Correct.
Let's see how this works. Let's see. So Divine Smites.
power of Sune's love with each
I
strike.
will say, because the Divine Smite is in, like, can power an attack, in this situation, you can use either a crystal to infuse an attack with Divine Smite, or you can specifically utilize your hit points that you can use for smites. You will be able to use your hit points as a resource. What I'm going to say is it will, because you're just absolutely going to be trying to, like, you essentially can burn the energy in your body to generate extra, let's call it extra strength in your attacks. And what I'll say is that it'll cost you 5 hit points per spell level that you want to put into a smite.
Okay. Now,
So-
is it I have the option to pay a life or a crystal, or both?
Yeah. You can do either one. So in a desperate situation when you have no crystals, you can start sacrificing your life to do major damage to
Okay.
creatures.
That'll work.
All right, Fabulous. Anything else for second level?
No.
All right, delightful. Hey, Directus.
Hey, this one's gonna be the hardest and most complicated. Just heads up. A lot of stuff.
Okay, we will get through
Yeah.
this quickly. I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So the first thing is the Eldritch Invocations. So that's kind of like a potentially a gray area, because there's some things that say you can cast this without using a spell slot. I don't know how that relates to crystals, but you know, it kind of informs the decisions a little bit. And then there's ones that say you just cast it once. How does that relate to crystals?
So, like I said, so like any spell, including the ones that are racial ability spells, things like that, it all takes crystals.
Okay.
So everything is suppressed.
That's fine. Okay, so that makes sense. There is one, Fiendish Vigor, for example, says you can cast it as a first level spell without expending a spell slot or material components. Does that matter?
So I will answer again. Literally everything takes crystals.
All right.
There is so.
That's fine.
Blizzard, to answer your question, so we decided the mechanic that we're going to use for crystals is, or for the suppression of magic. We've been trying for a couple weeks to figure out how we wanted to put that into the game. What I decided is when magic was like compressed, essentially, it actually compressed into small crystals. So now if you want to use magic outside of Delver's Dream, you have to have crystals with you. And the more powerful the magic, the more crystals are consumed in the casting of that spell. So like magical creatures and things like that had fabulous abilities now are covered in these magical crystals that you can then harvest from these creatures. And magical plants, same things. Places of power, same things. So there are places in the world where you can harvest these crystals so that you can actually get them, get the stuff that you need to cast spells outside in the world. Yes, so Lando.
Yes, so I think one of the most obvious ones is going to be Devil's Sight, getting from a fiend. We don't know who that is. It's just someone. He's fiend. Who knows? Who knows?
So we've got
yes,
Devil's Sight. Delightful.
And then I'm also going to say Eldritch Mind. I think part of what was included with the pack was the ability to have a stronger connection to the magic of holding on to spells. Also,
wait. So what does Eldritch Mind do?
Sorry. You have advantage of Constitution saving throws you make to maintain concentration on a spell.
Okay, cool.
And then Fiendish Vigor I'm going to change because that doesn't make as much sense. And then I'm going to do Investment of the Chainmaster because Pack Boon, which I technically get at level 3, is, it's kind of is going to be Pact of the Chain, foreshadowing. And then the the next one is going to be one with shadows. This one says when you're in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use an action to become invisible until you move or take an action or reaction. You know, because we kind of
so that one I think is just something you grew up in the Underdark. You also have learned to hide and to disguise things, stuff like that. You're just very well versed in dealing with dim light and dark light, stuff like that. You know how to stand so that people just don't look at you.
Yeah, and then I have one more that I haven't completely decided on. Can we go to the next person and I just circle back around when we go to level 3?
Well, we still have not just your Warlock, we now have the other one too.
100%. So, yes, this is interesting because this one is going to be our infusions. You know, essentially making magic weapons and things. Is that something I need to decide on all the things that I'm making now? Or...
Yeah, because we're going to need to figure out how they interact, because these are all, because they essentially, they mimic magic items which no longer exist.
Okay, is it possible for me to use these and infuse crystals into them to have it be...
Yeah, I think as long as that item is not changed. So once, if you want to change the item, it's not like you get the crystals back, you have to go find new crystals to create the new infusion. But for instance, let's say one of your infusions is a bag of holding. Bag of holding is an uncommon item, so you would have to have enough crystals to create a bag of holding.
So just to make it simple, and we don't have to go through all of them, and I don't have to make the choices necessarily now, like in this moment. If we say, hey, the list of things that are on the Artificer list, those are things that you have had access, the ability to learn how to make, but it still costs the crystals, it still costs all these things in order to make them. Does that work? Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's totally fine.
So then that's it for me then.
And the way the way that that's going to work when it comes to items is one crystal, it can be used to create a common item. So for instance, if you want to make a potion of healing or something like that, you will have to have a crystal to make
fine.
that. An uncommon, so I'm going to keep going. So an uncommon item is 3. Mm-hmm. A rare item is 9.
Yep.
A very rare item is 27.
Yep.
There is, so just so that everyone is aware, that's how items work now.
Yeah.
So yes.
And specifically, my advantage is that I have recipes to make certain items. Essentially.
Yeah. Okay. You'll just need the requisite amount of crystals. And speaking of that, earlier we did have a fabulous hype train, and because we get 1,600 bits in the hype train, you all have 32 crystals to spread out amongst yourselves. You can either choose to keep those crystals. We can give some like to the alchemist to create items, things like that. Or if you want to, you can combine any number of those crystals into the requisite amount, and we can roll for brand new magic items randomly. So just be aware of that. We'll make those decisions towards the end. And now,
sorry, real quick, just a question. Maybe we don't have to. Is can Draxus in the future learn recipes to make other magic items? Is that something that can be done?
Yeah. So the knowledge of creating a magical item has not disappeared from the world.
Okay. So like if there's one that a party member wants, we could go and research it, and is assuming we have the amount of crystals, Draxus could potentially make it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to follow the same item creation guide, so it would cost a shitload of gold. There is the magical reagents that you would need, like may or may not be available because of magic suppression, stuff like that. So it'll be much more difficult to create these things. It's not just going to be straight up. Here is because any magic item
makes sense.
You'll get.
Okay. With the exceptions of the one that are on my list of those I could just make with the crystals essentially.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
It's the same thing with the scrolls. If Reginald wants to make magical scrolls too.
Yeah. So you will need crystals for magical scrolls.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cool.
So all of that, and it's going to be based. So now the way that crystals work with spells is first off, there are no cantrips anymore. The magic for a cantrip is weak. So the magic for cantrips is weak enough that it cannot be it can't be maintained with the magic suppression at all. You just can't manage it, right? There is the first level spells cost 1 crystal, and then you just double it for every spell level that you go up after that. So second level is 2, third level is 4, fourth level is 8, and so on and so forth, until you get to ninth level, which is 264, I think. So you would need 264 crystals to cast 1 ninth level spell. So that's going to be very difficult to collect that. It's going to take a long time.
And then, sorry. Oh, sorry. Were you done? I apologize.
No. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that is different than the progression for magic items.
Yeah.
Okay, so magic items go in 3s, magic spells go in 2s. Yes. So.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say, in terms of the creation of magic items, I'm assuming that I have to like lock in the infusions in terms of like it's not just I could pick one and then hand it out to people. I have to like lock it in with an infusion in terms of like this is the item I can make, and I could change the infusion, but everything that I made with that infusion goes away.
Okay, so like I said before, what's going to happen is you're going to choose an infusion.
Yep.
You are then going to have to maintain that infusion only. As long as you maintain that infusion, it's fine.
Okay.
But as soon as you change the infusion, you'll have to get new crystals in order to create the new infusion.
Okay, but
So
but the items don't like disappear essentially.
What do you mean?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure how artificers work in that regard. If you let's say you make an uncommon item and then you switch out the infusion, is it go away or is it self-sustaining?
Yeah. So you
Okay.
can only so at each level there is a number of infusions that you know,
Yeah.
and a number of infusions that you can maintain. So, and the number that you can maintain
Okay.
is lower than the number that you will know.
Okay.
So, for instance, like when you start doing infusions, I think you can only have like 2 infusions at a time, but you'll know like 4 or 5 different infusions.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
normally an artificer will be able to switch out their infusions no problem on a daily basis, but because of the way magic works right now,
Yeah.
you are going to need to put the crystals into an infusion. And let's say you make, we'll use the same example. Let's say you make a bag of holding.
Yeah.
There is, if you decide that you want to infuse a magic weapon instead, that bag of holding just becomes a regular bag, and you will need new crystals to create this weapon. Okay, and that will happen every single time.
Gotcha. Okay. So, okay, that makes sense. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything
Sorry.
else?
Sorry. It's confusing because the artificers are a little confusing, and okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect.
Awesome. Fabulous. All right. Who is next?
In the
This is today.
turn order, it is.
Sorry, I forgot. That took a really long time.
I think it's Pro.
Who is?
I think it might be me.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
fabulous. Yay.
Let's say
All right,
it's me.
second
It's
level.
me.
I got that.
All right, so at second level for Ranger, I get Magic, which has been nerfed, and we've gone through all the rules for Magic already. And I have that on my secondary computer right here for ease of access. And also a fighting style. Previously, Crow's fighting style was dueling, being that he relied heavily on his trusted axe while exploring through the wilds of Non-Kent and everything. It came in handy, but as he has since moved to the brighter world, dealt in combat with allies such as Scorf and Thule, he's quickly realized that the front lines ain't for him, and decided to train to maximize his kind of expertise in the battlefield, being able to be at a distance, but also be effective. We went archery, baby.
Fabulous. I love
+2
it.
range attacks, doing away with being up close and personal. And then
Fantastic.
for Druid, we get our circle, which, oh wow, both of these are going to need some in-depth explanation. So, all right, sure. Let's start with Wild Shape. How does Wild Shape work in a world of repressed magic?
So Wild Shape works the same way.
All right.
Because it is a fundamental aspect of a class, so I'm not going to put crystal use on it. What I'm going to say is for you specifically, the reason that you are able to wild shape is because you grow up amidst a bunch of changelings, and you have already had your shape changed once. So you sort of understand the fundaments of shifting your biology.
Nice. But if I was going to flavor it as kind of the motif of like the ever-changing winds, that whenever he wild shape, he just got like the winds around him kicked up, and from that small kind of vortex, he emerges as a new creature. But
the other thing, if you want to do something with the winds, you could absolutely create a situation where it's like you don't actually shift. Like mechanically, it would be exactly the same, but you could sort of create an almost solid construct of wind around you.
Oh, that is awesome. All right. Was there ever another option? I love that. That's too cool to pass up. Absolutely. Wind construct. Let's go. And then for his Druid Circle, I actually ended up speaking about this with Mikey a bit earlier.
Yes.
Circle of the Lands. Now, considering, Circle of Lands would normally have me choose like a specific land to be like attuned to and like get the circle spells and everything from. But considering the fact that Fro cannot has taken up a more wandering as lifestyle and isn't really able to plant roots anywhere, that instead of the standard way that a Circle of Land works, where it's wherever he ends up spending a long rest at, that he becomes attuned to that environment. So say he is in an area that's within like a forest environment, he becomes attuned to the lands there and is a Circle of the Forest druid. But if he were to leave that place, spend time in another location, he would end up going back to Nonked and being within the swamps, he would become Circle of the Swamps while within that environment.
Changing of the winds.
I want to make it a little more challenging than that.
Of course.
Because I think that would just make for some better storytelling. What I'm going to say is it will be the last place that you stayed long enough that your winds destroyed something, that is the circle that you have. So if you want to establish yourself with a new circle, you have to spend at least, let's say, 3 days in a space. There is that way it's not just every single time you get to a new spot. It is, there has to be essentially your touchstone has to really invest itself in that spot in order to shift it.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah. I like that. There can be a little destruction there. All right, fabulous. So your Circle of the Land, what do you get with Circle of the Land?
Circle of the Land does give me a bonus cantrip, which does not matter because cantrips don't exist. And natural recovery, which during a short rest it basically is arcane recovery, but druid flavored.
Okay.
And so, as well as each of the different lands have their own land spells associated with them.
Oh, you know what I just thought about?
Go on.
Since crystals are crystallized magic, I'm going to say, since I've taken your cantrips away, I'm going to say that even after you have finished with all of your spell slots for a day, if you still want to cast, you can use double the number of crystals that you would normally need and cast a spell anyway. But there will be a chance anytime you do that of a chaos magic surge.
I was originally under the impression that spell slots were just basically the funk and it's all about the crystal baby. But all right.
Oh yeah, well no. So you have to have the the spell slot to cast it normally. And then you use the crystal to actually find the magic. So the spell slot is sort of your understanding of the spell that day and how to create it, and then the crystal powers it.
So,
but yes.
So in theory, if we just had enough crystals, we could cast as many types of spells as we wanted.
Infinitely.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
It'd be pretty dangerous, but totally.
Sure.
Yeah, and I definitely, as you use more and more crystals with that spell slots, definitely your wild magic chance is definitely
that's
up there, and the devastation will be more severe each time. All right, cool. Anything else for second level for you?
That would be it for me.
All right, fabulous. Hey, Mike, third level. What do you get?
Third level, I don't get anything, but I will say as far as character choices, all of my spells that I'm choosing are going to work with knowledge or the mind. And he is absolutely going to not do necromancy spells. And because at this point, he's said that he does not like the idea of undead. So
Absolutely.
I think that's what he's going to do.
So let me ask you, did you attempt any necromancy after you after you faced Kilnasi?
Since the battle, absolutely not.
Okay. Crow, have you attempted any necromancy after Kilnasi?
No, and speaking of that, I think I forgot to mention it last time, that Crow, in his declaration of no more death, endeavored to, especially when he finally grasped that primal link that allowed him to become a druid, cast aside the name of Crothon in favor of Crokahel, which Crothon, for those who might not have known, meant Death's Omen, and Crokahel means Stormbringer.
Okay, fabulous. I love it.
So yeah.
All right, cool.
Abandoned necromancy.
Has anybody attempted any necromancy?
You mean necromancy spells specifically?
Yeah.
I'd say probably Diraxis has.
What'd you try?
I'd have to look at the list. The theme that I was going for with Diraxis is biomancy, and because there's not it's kind of like a mix between necromancy and transfiguration or whatever it's called. So there's probably some spells that he's kind of experimented with. So I don't know specifically.
Okay, so are we talking necromancy? You attempted a vampiric touch, or you attempted an inflict wounds, or you attempted to raise the dead? Which one? Sort of what type of thing were you attempting?
I wrote that a list. Rave Enfeeblement was probably one.
What's it called?
Rave Enfeeblement was probably one.
Okay.
Gentle Repose was probably one. Bane Death was probably one. Life Transference. Blight. Those kind of things. I don't know if he's necessarily tried all of them. I don't know which one he would have done first.
Yeah, so those all work fine.
Okay.
Yep. There's all right, cool. So
yeah, he's not trying to raise dead, not do undead things.
So yeah, there's all right. There's all right. Who are we at? So Mike. So third level, yes. Character choices.
That's it.
No necromancy. Fabulous. All right. Hey, Damien. What do we got for third level?
Damien, are you there? Oh, you're muted. I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry. But for Sorcerer, it's just a Subtle Spell and Twin Spell. And then for Paladin, actually gets 5 different features, apparently. He gets Harness Divine Power, which, as a bonus action, he can use as a holy symbol and expend a spell slot, the level of which can be no higher than half the proficiency bonus. Number of times it can be used is based on your level.
And what does it do?
It's essentially expend a use of your channel divinity to fuel your spells.
Okay, and what divine, and your divine source is Sune?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the next is Divine Health. It basically makes him immune to disease. Sacred Oath, that's when he does the vengeance, because he's trying to avenge his fallen comrades.
Fabulous.
And then his Channel Divinities. He gets Abjure Enemy and Vow of Enemy. Abjure Enemy, I think it's, is it only undead, or let me check here.
So what does it do?
As an action, you present your holy symbol and a prayer of denunciation using your channel divinity. Choose one creature within 60 feet of you can see. The creature must make a wisdom save unless it's immune to being frightened. Fiends and undead are at disadvantage. On a failed save, the creature is frightened for 1 minute until it takes any damage. While frightened, the creature's speed is 0 and it can't benefit from any bonus.
Thank you. All right, so then what is the other one?
Vow of Enemy. Utter a vow of enemy against a creature you can see within 10 feet of you using your channel divinity. You gain advantage on attack rolls against that creature.
Okay, cool. Fabulous. I love it. All right, so you essentially are asking for little minor divine favors.
Kinda, yeah.
Totally fine. Anything else for level 3?
Just the Oath of Vengeance spells, and that's it.
All right, fabulous. And hey, Lando, what's level 3 for you?
Yeah, just going back real quick to the invocation, I chose Eyes of the Runekeeper. I think specifically that was granted by his patron, so that he could learn and study all manners of writing, regardless of what language it is, because it gives, you can read all writing, that's what that is. And then, for level 3 is the Pact Boon. I'm going to Pact of the Chain. He's got a little buddy.
So what does that give you?
Pact of the Chain is like it's a familiar kind of deal.
Okay, so you get a familiar, great.
Yeah, yeah. So nothing crazy.
So let me just be clear. The reason that we are doing this on stream and not off stream is because it can be very useful for people to sort of get to see what all the different choices are, how you sort of implement those choices, things like that. So explaining what we're doing can be very helpful in those things. And it helps me too, because I'm trying to keep track of 8 different classes at this point. So yes, all right, so Pact of the Chain, you just get a familiar?
Yeah, essentially, I had the investment of the Chain Master from the previous invocation that enhances it in a couple of different ways, but the specifics don't really matter all that much. So
here's the thing. What is this familiar?
I hadn't decided yet. Do you need me to decide right now?
Yeah, we're gonna need to tie this into your backstory. There's.
Well, I mean, backstory. I don't know about that. It's specifically coming from. I guess maybe specifically coming from the patron.
Baby demon bear.
Let it be a kangaroo.
Baby demon bear.
No, kangaroo.
Wait, no. Fuck. No. Got our boy.
Okay. So there's 4 options. There's Imp, Pseudo Dragon, Quasit, or Sprite. Those are the default options.
So yes, so we can throw all of those away if we want to.
Cool.
We're going to, because this is our table, so
Yeah.
we can do what we want with it. And I want something that has more to do with your experiences, or with.
Oh shit! Can he be a little monkey?
Why would you? Oh, because you keep turning out.
Yeah, can he be a little monkey?
egg.
Like
He's
a
turned the
like
giant
a little buff gorilla like this
It
big.
can absolutely be like a tiny little giant ape.
Yes.
So it's
yes.
So you're very much like Minsk, who has a miniature giant space hamster.
Yes.
You have.
Oh my gosh, I love him. I love him so much. I'm gonna learn how to grow.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you've got a little. You now have a miniature giant ape
Oh, I
with
love
you.
it so much.
Fabulous.
And
Okay.
because I invested with the Chain Master, he can fly.
Kill him.
So
Kill him
what
now.
I'm gonna say is that your ape cannot fly,
Oh,
but your ape can brachiate, which means
never even heard that word.
the brachiate means like if you're swinging from vine to vine or branch to branch. That's what it's called.
Oh,
Brachiation.
okay.
So it's sort of like you know what I will give your little monkey? I'm gonna give your little monkey what essentially will be mechanically like a little whip, but it's gonna look like a little vine that they have that you can like toss and swing so that it sort of feels like they're flying.
Oh, I love it.
But there has to be stuff for the
It's like Spider-Man can't fly, but in essence, in the right environment. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay, so you've got a little Spider-Man monkey.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right. So
let me scroll down to, I think the only thing with the Artificer, it's so long. Okay, is the specialty, and Draxus is going to be an Alchemist because that's who he is.
And what comes along with the Alchemist?
You get Alchemist spells. You get Alchemist Elixir, which essentially you can create an elixir by expending a first level spell slot, and then I believe it's random. You roll a d6, and then it has certain effects essentially.
Okay. So
I can get more specific if you'd like, but
is this a daily thing? Is this a anytime
whenever you finish a long rest, you get it. Essentially, it looks like it's a per long rest consumable.
So once per long rest, you expend a spell slot. That's why I'm asking, because if it's expend a spell slot, most of the time it'll be.
Okay, so sorry, it's a little complicated. Essentially, you get one per long rest. You can just make it, and then you can create more of them by expending spell slots.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is the one that you can create normally, that will be just if you have the right reagents. So that's just going to be an elixir based on, not based on magic, but based on science, is what that's gonna be. If you want to, what I'll say is that because of the way it's sort of worded, that it's not going to be that you're creating a new one. It is that you are using magic to double the elixir or to create another one to like clone it.
Yeah. My guess is they use the spell slot as a device to keep you from just making a billion of them.
Yes. So what I'm going to say is that potion, the reason that you have to use a crystal to make the next one is because if you're not making an original one, you're cloning one.
Okay.
Essentially. So, all right, cool. So, so you can have the first one for free each day. That's just your ability that you can make in your fabulous laboratory that you and Crow have now.
And I'm assuming I'll be able to make other kinds. This is just
Reginald,
related to the class feature.
Come on.
Right?
And Reginald, everybody gets a lab.
Everybody gets a lab.
We're all in the lab.
We are going to make a big, in the basement of the tavern. That's where your lab's gonna be.
Yes.
So you have all
next to the brewing equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got brewing equipment, and then you got your whole lab to make all the kind of stuff.
Keep it down up there. We're studying.
Just get the broom and just smack it.
Like singing all drunkenly, and we're like, "Shut up!
Shut up!
You damn kids!" It's absolutely.
And then,
Crow.
Hey,
yes.
Sorry.
Got more?
I get a tool proficiency, but I don't think it even really makes sense because I already have poison, I already have alchemy, and I already have glass blowers. It's all of I could choose any of them, but none really stand out to me, to be honest. So I'm okay with just foregoing.
So then I'm gonna give you brewer's tools because your lab is next to the brewery.
Brewer's tools.
So there we go.
Okay, cool.
Right. Fabulous.
Awesome.
Yeah, you spend enough time around Athul, he can teach you.
It's rubbing off.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, cool. Crow, third level.
All right, so let's just speed run through this. The third level of Druid, nothing. Besides the circle spells, the third level of Ranger, baby, I get my Ranger archetype. We already know where this is gonna go. It's Drake Warden, baby. It's my Okelada and Creotal and Vrat and Bea. Like, it's my babies. They're here. It gives me thaumaturgy, doesn't matter, and Tongue of the Dragon, so I know Draconic and an additional language. You know what? It makes sense. I'm traveling all over the place. I of course know a lot of different like languages, so I don't hold this against having so many at my disposal. I'm torn between like the language of the animal folk in Balin and the language of I'm in Delvers. I should probably know how to speak Dwarvish. I've been here long enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's grab Dwarvish. All right. Then my great companions, my babies, my lovely babies.
So we already know all of those, right?
Yeah, we already know all of them. I currently have my poison drake, my lightning drake, my fire drake, and my radiant drake. I believe those are the 4 that I currently have. Let me just double check.
Lost your ice drake.
Oh no, Glacia! Oh wait, she came back. At the after the fight, it recoalesced.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So you have your ice drake.
So and I have Glacia. I can't believe I forgot Glacia, my baby. But yeah. So those are my 5 drakes so far. I think the only drake I do not have is an acid drake. I just don't have an acid drake.
Well, you don't have an acid drake.
Yeah,
but who knows? You might be able to create like a necrotic drake. Or
ooh, imagine a force drake. Like I do not want to just go diving into the astral sea.
Okay,
but
so
imagine if.
Or a gem drake, which will be psionic.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, a psychic drake.
Ooh, a psychic drake. That would be delicious.
Oh
yeah.
I do, in fact, I have already created, and this was many months ago when I was just playing around D&D Beyond. I did create a force dragon in D&D Beyond. Because there was
they have something like that. It's called a wasteland dragon.
A what?
They have something like it. It's called a wasteland dragon.
Well, there's actually a force dragon in the lore, and what it is, it's from 3.5. It's one of the epic dragons, epic level dragons. It includes force dragon, prismatic dragon, and there's another one. And there is. Force dragons have this really interesting ability because, like, so prismatic dragons are sort of like the good epic dragon, and then force dragons are like the evil epic dragon. And force dragons have this an ability called arrogant superiority or something like that.
Arrogant superiority.
Where it is, they are so full of themselves that anytime they are physically above their opponent, they get advantage on like all of their attacks.
That is delicious.
Yeah, I was like, this is fabulous. And of course they have a force breath attack, and they've got a thing where like they're constantly under a blur spell effect because most of them is invisible most of the time. But the coolest thing about them is that they are completely immune to force effects, which means that they can like create like a force cage around somebody and still attack into the cage while the person cannot stop them.
That is horrifying. Yeah. I love it. I feel very bad for hunters who I
do not want to get in there.
absolutely see running into this thing.
So yes, there's so maybe you'll face a force dragon.
Maybe I'll get to like.
Hopefully Delvers doesn't, because we'll get so
Listen,
fucked.
Crow has a bad track record of just being enamored with new dragons, so I don't think he'll just be like trapped in the force cage, just like, I am perfectly
You seem cool.
You're majestic, and I just needed to make sure that you knew you were majestic, and like we're all on the same page. You're majestic. Oh yeah, you're superior. Oh yeah, dude, like look at you. Of course you're superior. Yeah. Can we hang out? Can we just be friends for a while? All right, but yeah, enough of tomfoolery.
We've got 6 more. We've only gotten 2-3 levels.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to speed it up. So now when we get to you, just give me a list of the things that you get at that level, and I will stop you when there is a question that I have about making a decision that ties specifically into your backstory. Okay? So let's jump in with Mike, 4th level.
4th level, just a feat. I'm going to do Gift of the Metallic Dragon, and I'm going to tie it into my backstory and also have it be something that was reawakened from being around Crothon and working closely with him.
Okay.
So because I come from Eberron and they worship the dragon marks in the the dragon specifically, I think that as a gift from my birth, one of the metallic dragons actually gave me that there when I was born, but it wasn't active until now.
So what was the gift that they gave you?
So it was just this blessing. So basically what you get with the gift of the metallic dragon.
So I understand that.
It was the dragon mark specifically.
So you've been given a dragon mark.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why that's part of being a mark of the storm half elf, is that you get this dragon mark as well.
Okay, so what color is who is lightning? Is that silver? No, is that copper?
I think it's copper.
I believe,
or brass.
Brass.
Yeah, copper or brass.
Let me check.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, there is so that will be the dragon that will because I want to be specific about that.
Okay.
So you've got either copper or brass is the dragon. We will find out in just a moment.
It is okay.
Whichever one has the
copper.
Copper seems poison as I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Copper is acid. Brass.
Brass is fire.
Yeah, brass seems to be fire. Yep.
It could be
silver is cold. No, silver's cold. Gold is fire. Yeah. Bronze. Is bronze lightning?
Bronze might be.
Oh, bronze! I knew it was a B. Yeah, it's bronze.
Okay, it's bronze.
Okay, so
I'm forgetting a dragon. Yeah.
So bronze dragons, absolutely. That is your heritage. Cool. With your dragon mark.
And what the feat gives you specifically is you can cast Cure Wounds once a day without using a spell slot. And then you get Protective Wings, so you can shield someone. You can shield another creature
within 5 feet of you.
Within 5 feet of you, and give them AC equal to your proficiency, so it'd be +4.
Fabulous. It's sort of like a delightful, free shield spell, and you can use that once per long rest.
For this one, you guys can use this reaction equal to your proficiency, so I can use this 4 times as well.
Okay, so you can use it 4 times, and it gives +4 to whoever you use it on.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Love that. So bronze wings suddenly appear and shield your friends because you're cool.
I think it's dope.
Awesome. You will need a crystal to cast the Cure Wounds still.
I thought you said if it was something that doesn't cost a spell slot, you don't have to use the...
No. There's certain things. So that had to do with the potion. If it is like your racial abilities, all that kind of stuff, those spells are all suppressed. Any spell that you get from a feat, those are all suppressed. So even if you're supposed to be able to do it once a day, anything that's a spell, you're still gonna need crystals.
Like the invocations. Same thing.
Hi, Last Omnitech. Welcome. We are doing a session 0 for campaign 3. We do it a little differently here. You have to tie all of your decisions into your backstory to create more depth of character and depth of the lore. If you would like to help our characters get even more powerful, anything we do that helps the channel will also help our characters. We can give them extra feats, we can give them extra ability scores, and a new type of thing called crystals, which helps power our spells up. So thank you for being here. All right, anything else for 4th level? Wow. And God mode just raided 2. All right, 2 raids in 1 minute. Welcome. I will say it again. We are doing a session 0 right this moment for our campaign 3 arc. Everybody is having to tie their decisions specifically into the various character choices they have made over the last year as we move forward. And if you want to help out our characters, you can give them things like extra feats or extra ability score bonuses or things like that. So feel free to jump in and do these very things. So, hey, all right, is anything else, Mr. Mike, for level 4?
Nope, that's it.
Fabulous. All right. Hey, Damiab, what about you for level 4?
Well, for Sorcerer, I did back then. Around that time is you had us fighting some sort of. I think it was like a shadow, like the thing that drains physical strength when it deals damage to us. And Athul got really jacked up by one of those. So when we took our feats or ability scores after that little excursion, I had him pick up Shadow Touch, which essentially it boosts his charisma, because that's the one I took, and it gave him the ability to start using things like invisibility and what was the other one? I can't remember what I took. False Life.
All right, fabulous. So those Shadow Touch, absolutely, you've been to the Shadowfell, you've dealt with a lot of shadow magic, your blade comes from shadow, so absolutely, I feel like that's a natural progression that you'd be able to jump into. Anything else for 4th level?
For the 4th level of Paladin, let's see here. He gets his martial versatility, which whenever you reach a level in this class, it grants an ability score feature. You can do the classic swap out. But for that one, having dealt with a lot of other casters and being quite irritated with them at that point, he picked up a few tricks to figure out how to be an effective mage slayer.
Fabulous. Okay. Absolutely, yeah. No, definitely Athul has dealt with a lot of magic users. So I feel like that is... tell me, what is the most... So I know Mage Slayer, essentially when somebody near you is casting a spell, you can you can attack them, right?
I got 3 things. If you want, I can list them out for you.
Yes.
The first one is whenever a creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use a reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature. Second effect is when you damage a creature that is concentrating on a spell, that creature has disadvantage on saving throw it makes to maintain concentration. And then the last feature is you have advantage on saving throws against spells cast by creatures within 5 feet of you.
Okay, who else has Mage Slayer?
Duraxis.
Duraxis does?
Ooh, our Mage Slayer duo.
I'm going to do something interesting, I think, with this feat. So yes, all of those things apply, but instead of making a weapon attack, you can make a weapon attack if you want to. What I'm going to say with Mage Slayer, based on the new rules of magic in the world, if you are within 5 feet of somebody else casting a spell, you can attempt to take control of their crystal. So you can essentially, because you'll have to be holding a crystal to cast a spell, you can make, I'm going to say you can make a sleight of hand check to try to grab hold of their crystal. And if you do, instead of making an attack, you can cast whatever size of crystal that is, you can use it to power a spell that targets the mage themselves.
Okay.
So if somebody's casting, let's say, a fireball, they're casting a 3rd level spell, you can do a sleight of hand check to grab the crystal and cast one of your own 3rd level spells at that mage instead.
All right,
Wow.
that'll work.
Oh, okay. Crazy.
I think that's
Wow.
because now that magic casting has a physical component, I think that would be super delightful. But you would need to have the Mage Slayer feat, because that's the thing that allows you to identify both the crystal, the spell, all the things you would need to actually jump in there and make that happen.
Sweet.
So I like that. All right, cool.
Oh.
Anything else for 4th level?
Nope.
All right, fabulous. Hey, Duraxis, what about you?
And real quick, are we doing the ability score for both classes or just the one?
What do you mean, the feat?
Because yesterday we just did
one.
1 at 8 or 1 at 4 and 1 at 8 total.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm totally up for changing it up, but I was interested in maybe giving Diraxis like a flintlock pistol and taking the firearm specialist.
Okay, so first of all, have we seen a gun in this entire campaign?
No, but Diraxis is all about adjusting and adapting and making things for the new world that has been created.
Pirates
Sure.
didn't have any?
Nope.
And didn't Diraxis party with two people that had cannons on their like wrist?
Those were artificer
Cannons. Yeah, those were
Eldritch. Yeah,
something
they're
cannons.
Eldritch. Yeah.
That's totally fine. I just be a cool aesthetic thing. It really isn't like all that crazy. But if
you would need to. You essentially are trying to create an entirely new technology that is not based on anything that has come before.
No, that's totally fine.
What you're dealing with is what you're dealing with is in like with an artificer is you're dealing either with magic energy, fire energy, or defensive energy, right?
Okay.
So you're not dealing with gunpowder, things like that. So you would have to discover like the secrets of gunpowder.
Yeah, it'd be like a chemical reaction of some kind. But that's totally fine. We don't.
Okay, so if you just want to give up on it, that's fine.
No, I don't want to feel like it'd be cool, but we don't have to change the lore. We don't have to do all this dance if that's not something you want to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish then. So if you would like to do something like that, what it would take is you would have to go and really research, do some experimentation, things like that. So it wouldn't be immediate. I would say, okay, not for your 4th level slot, but when you get to your 8th level slot, we can say that you did that if you're gonna spend like the entire month sort of trying to figure out a way to, what would you be trying to replace?
Replace in what way?
So like the impetus, so like necessity is the mother of invention.
Oh,
right?
Okay, like replace cantrips. Essentially, low level, rank, because that's
which cantrip?
Well, I mean, it would be Eldritch Blast, essentially. I mean, he didn't have that before, but
Okay, or Firebolt.
it would be like a force thing.
Okay, yeah. So that would be then, yeah. So in that situation, then it would definitely be, you would either need to, and we can talk about exactly what the things are, but you need to create like either some sort of like compressed air thing, or you need to figure out gunpowder, or something like that. Like, and it can be interesting and ingenious, but it would definitely be like like small projectiles.
Yeah,
considering
very small arms is what I was thinking. Like, it wouldn't be anything. I mean, it'd be a lot weaker than his level of Eldritch Blast for sure. I just think it'd be kind of a cool thing where like Drax is like, oh, hey, magic is really scarce. What's something I can do and deal damage from a range that will protect myself from people that are bigger and stronger and tougher without having to use magic.
I'm uncertain if Diraxis has ever been to Jar-Saia, but the kobolds and gnomes have figured out. We figured it out when we decided to try to blow up an entire fucking Elithid ship. So if
Diraxis hasn't been over there.
If Diraxis has been working on this though, and in close proximity to Crow, and like Crow saw some of that research, is like, I know a guy. I know someone that like hits you in contact.
You might know someone that they could talk to, but you wouldn't know enough about it to actually.
I wouldn't know. I was based to be more so like a contract, putting him in contact with people who might be able to further this. Like Gray would be totally down for this kind of research.
Yeah. So if you want to go to Jar-Saia and talk to Granny about it, then absolutely you could make that. So if you want to sort of hold off on your 8th level feat, you can do that. All right. So what then would be your 4th level feat?
I was going to do Meta Magic Adept as a holdover of the residuals from his previous class. The 2 we're going to take are Subtle Spell and Twin Spell, ones that he used often. The Subtle more towards the end, but Twin was the double monkeys. That was twinned every time.
Absolutely, Azul can teach you the exact same meta magic options that he's got. So yeah, you've got somebody to teach you all that, to remind you of how to make those things happen. All right, cool. So anything else for 4th level?
No.
Well, there is.
That's it. If we're just doing the one per class or per thing,
just like we did yesterday.
That's it. Yep.
Okay, so hey Crow, what about you?
Similarly, as a holdover from knowledge turned away from, but Crow is going to take the 4th level feat, Ritual Caster, as a holdover from his tutelage and study as a wizard, which allows him access to a few 1st level spells that he can cast as a ritual from the wizard spell list. And the 2 that are at the top order for him are going to be Comprehend Languages and Identify.
Okay. Ritual spells.
I assumed that ritual spells essentially be the same amount of the same time prerequisite, but still requires crystal, but doesn't use a spell slot. It's the only thing that.
If you're within Delver's Stream and you're casting a spell that's like a ritual spell or a long-term spell, you can cast it regularly in Delver's and it'll last once you get out of Delver's. I think ritual spells, normally, yes, it's going to take a crystal, whatever that looks like. But I'm going to say with a ritual, if you're in a spot where there is a large collection of crystals, so for instance, the teleportation circles, they required an enormous amount of magic to create, that's tied specifically to Delver's Stream. Those places now are going to have like huge columns of crystal, sort of coming out of them.
Awesome. That is a great aesthetic.
There is, if you sit in the center of those, you can just pull the ambient energy for a ritual magic. You won't be able to cast spells from them because the ritual magic takes 10 minutes. So you have enough, you can pull enough ambient energy to make that work. So any place where that's the case, you can cast ritual spells without having to use a crystal. But otherwise, if you're just out in the forest or something, then you'll have to use one. Okay, fabulous.
All right.
I love it. Anything else for 4th?
Oh, that'll be it for Crow.
All right. Let's jump back to Mike. 5th level.
5th level, I'm gonna make it easy on you. There's not a lot to talk about.
No one wants to talk to you anyway.
I know. It's just all blank. It's got Destroy Undead. That's pretty fun.
These
you
things
get
happen.
what?
Destroy Undead.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
There is. Because you gained Destroy Undead, and because your god is Wisdom, you are going to gain. I'd like to have a conversation with Mike.
Ooh.
Yep.
If everybody else can pop out, please deafen yourself and let me know when we are good to go.
Someone just send a message in chat when you guys are done.
Sounds good. All right. Is it just you and me, Mike?
Hold on.
It is. Oh.
There we go. So, Mike, I'm going to tell you a little secret.
Yes, sir.
Destroy Undead is now useless
I figured.
because there are no undead. And do you know why?
Because the magic's all gone?
That's part of it, but when Wisdom shut down magic, he also did exactly what the old gods did and shut down access to the multiverse. There will be, you cannot, because it has to be just the 42 people fighting for the future of the multiverse. No gods can get involved.
Oh my god, it all makes sense.
There
Oh my
is
god.
so there's not going to be at the first time someone tries to do healing, they're going to find out there's no healing. Like they can do healing like with a crystal, but it's going to be very suppressed. It's going to do like if it's supposed to do like 20 hit points of healing, it'll do like 2 because it's literally just using magic to speed up the metabolic process instead of pulling on energy from the positive energy plane. There's no undead, there's no summoning. So the only people that have access to these things are going to be people that have touchstones, but even they are not going to have access to certain aspects of magic. So summoning's now gone. Crow can still summon his Great Wardens because their essence is in the talons. But you won't be able to summon anything. You won't be able to do healing. There's no creation of undead. There's no negative energy. So, like, you can't do inflict spells because there's just no negative energy anymore.
Wow.
Things like that. Yeah. So that is something that you have discovered because, very specifically, because your god is wisdom, and wisdom knows, and you got that ability to destroy undead. And when you tried to reach out and touch it, you realized that you no longer have a connection to radiant energy or necrotic energy.
So, but with my touchstone, does it still work?
So your touchstone is
Because I have these.
So you can connect to the concept of different planes, but essentially, if people get too close together and they are going to be transported to another plane, they would just be thrown off the planet. They'd be thrown to the edge of the crystal sphere, essentially.
That sounds painful. Ow.
And there's no air, so they would just suffocate and die.
Okay.
Just floating around. So, yeah.
Totally gonna abuse that, so, you know.
Absolutely. It's going to be delightful. There's everybody, would you send them a message in chat that they can come back?
Yes.
All right.
So we just had a lovely little lore dump. Mike can choose to share it with you.
Oh, I think it'd be
we'd like-
much cooler if that
Much
came
more
up in
fun.
roleplay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, fabulous. Anything else for 5th level, Mike?
No, just that awesomeness,
cool.
you know.
Cool. 5th level.
Alrighty, so for 5th level, Sorcerer grants him magical guidance, and you can tap into your inner wellspring of magic, and you can use 1 sorcery point to re-roll a d20, and you must use the new roll, potentially turning a failure into a success.
Okay, cool.
And
Absolutely. Anything else?
for Paladin at 5th level, we get everybody's favorite extra attack.
Yay, extra attacks! All right, fabulous. Anything else for Paladin?
Nope.
Alrighty then. Hey, Daraxis.
Nothing for Warlock, but you get Alchemist
Alchemical.
Alchemical Savant. I was
Savant.
yeah, Savant.
Oh.
It's a very different
Okay.
word than I thought it was initially.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
alchemical
you got good at creating magic, enhancing the healing and damage you create through them. You cast a spell using your alchemist supplies as a spellcasting focus. You gain a bonus to 1 roll of the spell. That roll must restore hit points or be damaged, and it is equivalent to your modifier, intelligence modifier.
I'm going to give you a special thing. You can, since it seems like you're now going to be researching ways to get around the issues with magic.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to be putting your time and focus. What I will say is that you may choose how to do this. You may choose once per month.
Okay.
You may choose a spell that you know that is half of your current level or lower. So So rounded down. So right now, technically, you're 9th level,
Yep.
which means you need to be a spell of 4th level or lower.
Yep.
You'll need to talk to me about it, but you can create an alchemical mixture using that ability that allows you to recreate that spell. And we can talk about like how much it'll cost, all of that kind of stuff. But it has to be something that you could create using just reagents and no magic. So for instance, you could, once you figure out how to create like the gun, all of that kind of stuff, you could create like a fireball, like an explosive device that is a fireball.
My immediate thought was something like polymorph again, because we're going kind of, it's going to be doing mancy kind of deal.
Can you give me an explanation about like something that you could like inject into someone that would literally turn them into another animal, like completely rewrite their biology? That would be a temporary thing.
Oh, maybe not temporary. I was thinking like the DNA, like the amino acids, or I don't know. Like Diraxis supposedly Diraxis is supposed to be smarter than me, so I don't know.
Sure. I'm gonna say like something like that. I don't think you'd be able to recreate. The science on the planet just is not there.
Sure.
There is, but like if there are other spells that you could, like you could absolutely create like a scorching ray. You could probably
explosion kind of. Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Because it has to be, because it says very specifically for that it has to be healing or it has to be damage. So it can't be like a polymorph thing. So something like that, so you could create like a super powerful healing potion, or something like that does not rely on magic to power it. That would be something that would, we could talk about.
Is magic the impetus for healing potions normally?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all I get.
All right, fabulous. Hey, Crow.
Hey, gonna make this one quick and easy. Druid, nothing. Ranger, extra attack. Bang, bang.
Yay! All right, fabulous.
Also, 30-minute notice on Mikey's departure.
All right, all right, Mikey. 6th.
Manifest Mind for the Scribe Wizard. So basically, my book comes alive, and that's pretty fun.
Ooh, I can spell that.
Oh shit! You know what it is?
What is it? Is it just Corton? Is my
No.
Manifest
Is there a
Mind?
book just called?
It's the construct that we lost. It's the child. Yeah, that's what your Manifest Mind is. It's specifically the child construct, who's always, so you're gonna have to roleplay that really well. They're always super excited about everything. They're just discovering everything for the first time, and everything is fabulous.
Reginald is going to have to raise a child. Jeez.
Oh no!
Good luck, buddy.
Welcome to the club.
I love it.
I have a lot.
Listen,
As Diraxis.
Yeah.
he wasn't good at being a child. How is he going to know how to raise a child?
Yeah. I feel like Reginald and this child are not going to enjoy each other.
No.
And I think that is going to be so much fun to watch.
Yes. And I'm just going to, it's going to be asleep a lot because I'm just going to be teaching it history. It's just like, oh yeah, and then this, and then it's just like, oh man.
Fabulous. What else do you get?
So for Cleric, I get something even cooler. I get Channel Divinity Read Thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't say you cast this. It's just as an action, choose a creature within 60 feet of you. They have to do a wisdom saving throw, and if not, you can read their mind.
So what I'm going to say is that this is just pattern recognition through wisdom, the god wisdom. Understanding the micro expressions and facial expressions on someone's face, you can tell in general, because detect thoughts won't give you specific thoughts immediately. It will give you very general thoughts. So you can definitely see how they're feeling, what's going on, whether they're lying to you, all that kind of stuff, just based on the way that their face moves.
So what you're saying is you're turning Reginald into a street magician. That's
Yeah, sure, a street psychic, absolutely.
Yeah, just a street psychic. Just like I'm thinking of a name. It starts
Cold
with
reads for
W.
days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yes, or it's the
Oh,
same thing that
no.
CIA agents are trained in to
Okay.
detect if somebody's lying. Like it is.
I like
So,
the
yes.
street magician a little better, but yeah, we'll go with
Absolutely.
CIA agent.
You're Chris Angel now. Like
There you go, mind freak. You know, whatever.
Mind freak.
Oh my God! You now every time your little child construct comes out of your book, it's just gonna go
Mind freak.
Mind freak.
I want that thing to cause as much chaos as possible, like legitimately. It's gonna be so much fun.
Absolutely. Like you're gonna summon it and try to keep it quiet. It's like, why are you trying to keep me quiet? Is there something weird going on?
Oh jeez.
Oh, yucky.
Curse you, wisdom.
All right. Anything else for 6th level?
That's it.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to use a spell slot for it. So,
Yeah.
All right, fabulous. Ethul, what about you? 6th level.
Well, for Aberrant Sorcerer, a little bit of bolstering and 2 fronts of their psionic ability. First one is Psionic Sorcery. Whenever I cast a 1st level spell from my Psionic Spells feature, I can expend a spell slot or spend a number of sorcery points equal to do it. If I do it with sorcery points, it doesn't require verbal or semantic components.
I am going to say for that one, for the sorcery points, because this is essentially sort of a wellspring of your personal psionic energy. Absolutely, you can do that. That's no problem at all. Yeah, I think you're good there. All right, what else do you get for 6th?
Psychic defenses, and I've kind of flavored this as Thul's hatred for charm magic kind of manifesting. He gains resistance to psychic damage and has advantage against saving throws and advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. Blech.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've been in really fucked up situations for a while, so I definitely feel like being frightened is like just you're like, oh, I've seen worse.
I saw a fiend queen get turned into a bracelet by a spider.
Yeah. These are things that we have experienced. I love it. All right, fabulous. Anything else for 6th level?
For Paladin, scrolling. I get Aura of Protection. Starting at 6th level, whenever you are a friendly creature within proximity, that's the +4 for me, or the +5 for when Bashir was here, but for me it's +4.
Okay.
Wait, no,
You've got
actually, I think,
no,
yeah, it's still +4.
All right, cool. So that is, and that's Aura Protection. So that gives them +4 on saving throws, right?
Yeah, if they're within 10 feet of me.
Okay. All right. That's super magical. Is this a? You know, we can say that this is your, like the presence of Sune. Oh, you know what you can do? You can have your bunny go hop over to them and give them a little comfort. So what I'm going to say, since that's such a super powerful and super magical ability, that only one person can use it per round, and that person, essentially, the bunny's going to go run over to them and help bolster them in some way, but only one of them can use it per round.
Dill, protect.
Right. All right, fabulous. Anything else for 6th?
That is all.
All right, Lando.
6th level for Warlock, you got Dark One's Own Luck. When you make an ability check or saving throw, you can add a D10 to it. You can do so after seeing the initial roll, but before the effect, you do it once per long or short rest.
Fabulous.
Then we go down to... Wow, there's so much scrolling. 6. Tool expertise. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make using a tool you're proficient with.
Okay, cool. That's you
that's
can
it.
work with the tools. Great, fabulous. Hey, Crow.
Hey, yo! So I get nothing from Ranger, and for Druid, I get Landstride, which means that I am not impeded by non-magical difficult terrain, and I have advantage on saving throws against magical plants.
I'm just gonna say that you are this absolutely comes from your touchdown. It just like you've always got the wind at your back, so you can just always move through things, and you're constantly sort of surrounded by wind, so that'll give you just a little bit of buffer against things that are affected by the wind, like plants.
Got it.
So, all right, fabulous, love it. Anything else?
Nope, that'll be it for
all right, Mike. Level 7. We're gonna get this done in the next 20 minutes, Mike. So that you can, because Mike's gotta go.
Skip to level 8 because there's nothing for level 7.
All right, so level 7.
I picked ability score for. I picked the ability score improvement for level 8, and I just picked wisdom twice.
Okay, absolutely, because you are invested in the god of wisdom. Fantastic. I love it. That totally works. And you don't get any other powers or anything like that?
Nope, not really. No, that's it.
All right. Then why don't we finish out this with level 9 for you, because everyone's level 9 and 9.
Yep,
So
level 9 also nothing.
Really? You don't get anything? Oh, just spells?
Yeah, spell stuff, yeah.
A lot of them is just like spells.
Yeah, I'm about to hit that
then.
wall too.
Tis the pain of a full caster.
So if you need to head out at any time, you can feel free to head out. We might be able to get through this and get to descriptions. So get to our backgrounds in a minute. So, but feel free to hop out when you need to. Okay, Ithul. Let's do level 7, 8, 9 for you.
Bye, guys.
Nothing in the nothing in the sorcerer front until level 8 with an ability score improvement, and for that he's just been practicing his agility so he can get around the battlefield a little better. So he just put it in dexterity for both of those. Then
absolutely, as we're trying to, you're, as a mage slayer, trying to get to that damn crystal. Absolutely.
And plus, I have been getting more dexterous just by wielding dexterity weapons. Let's see here. For 7th level of Paladin, I get Relentless Avenger. By 7th level, your supernatural focus helps you close off a foe's retreat. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can move up to half your speed immediately after the attack and as part of the same reaction. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks.
Okay, absolutely. It's all about speed. You've been training your dexterity, so absolutely you can get that. All right, cool.
And then for the ability score in that, having literally died, being torn apart at a cosmic level by trying to manipulate multiple touchstones, and just by being in the presence of other touchstones, and just being generally knocked around a lot lately, Ithul has become fairly tough.
Yep. So now, just to be clear, you get there's 1 feat or 1 increase at 8th level. It's not, you don't get 1 in each class.
Oh, well, then yeah, I'll just stick with the dexterity.
Fabulous. All right. Because these are Gestalt characters, so while on the sheet it says 18, it's actually still just level 9. All right, anything else for you?
Am I marked at level 9? I am. Yeah, that's I don't get anything for level 9 for either class.
Alrighty then. Hey, Lando.
Yeah, so for the Warlock, it's the order's changed on my sheet, but it doesn't matter. The firearm specialist is the one I'm going with.
Okay.
Fabulous. And then for level 7 of the Artificer, it's Flash of Genius. When you or another creature you see within 30 feet makes an ability check score, you could add your intelligence modifier. You do this up to your intelligence modifier. Times. You can do this as many times as your intelligence modifier. And regain
I'm definitely going to need you to role play those instances.
Yeah.
When that happens. So Duraxis is going to start being a bit of a know-it-all when he's looking over at his friends and be like, hey, actually, if you just I will.
Draxus is not condescending asshole, but I will do it. I will roleplay it in a way that's appropriate for being helpful.
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on?
You'd be like an IT
Oh,
guy.
IT.
The fuck. Anyway, okay, then for level 9 we have restorative reagents. It's related to the experimental elixir that we talked about before. When it's created, you get some temporary hit points when you drink it. Any creature that drinks it gets temporary hit points, and you can cast lesser restoration without expending a spell slot and without preparing the spell, provided you have the alchemist supplies as a spellcasting focus. You can do that as many times as your intelligence modifier.
Okay, so it's just more creating potions.
Essentially, it has a little bit more. There's a little more effects.
So it amplifies the potions that you've already started creating.
So
right?
there's like 1 of 6, and they do different things. One of those 6 that you could roll is healing. This just says you get temporary hit points regardless of what it rolls. So
but all of them are made to like improve your stats.
Yeah, let me just look at them real quick.
So what I'm gonna
essentially yes.
What I'm gonna say is that you are gonna need to choose. You can choose one that you will start with, and you will just know, and that is something that you can create. For all of the rest, you will need to research them in order to learn how to create them.
Oh shit! There's a transformation one.
Okay, cool. What does it do?
It basically as if it's been transformed by Alter Self. It lasts for 10 minutes.
Oh, cool.
So it's okay. So it's a disguise thing. All right.
Yeah. And maybe you could research that enough to maybe turn it into polymorph.
Yeah,
well, that could be a thing.
Honestly, that's really what Diraxis is about. Is he's really kind of put off because his character was so reliant on magic as just a thing he could do that now that it's that. And he never had to study, he never had to do anything, and now he's had to pivot so heavily that he's kind of like, he's kind of mad at magic at this point. He's kind of like, fuck, like, this thing I relied on for so much of my life is now gone.
Absolutely.
And I think he's kind of bitter that he has to use these crystals or whatever, and he's like, I'm going to figure out how to do it without it. Fuck the crystals, kind of. Like, I feel like it's kind of his attitude a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, transformation. I think that's the one I'm going with.
All right. So what I'm going to say, if it's an alter self thing, for that, I'm going to say what you're actually doing, because alter self just allows you to sort of shift your appearance, right?
No, it's you have the options between aquatic adaptation, change appearance, and natural weapon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. You know what I'm gonna say? It is something for that one. It is if that's one you want to go with, what you have done is you have found some lycanthropes. And you have learned to distill the blood of a lycanthrope to do some basic shifts in an area.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
it's
like that.
not.
Or
It's not
changing
a
blood.
thing specifically. It's a biological thing.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Cool.
Okay. Yes. So with aquatic, you found a were shark somewhere.
Yeah.
During shark.
During Shark. During Shark Week. Yeah.
Found it.
Get some pieces.
Absolutely.
Found. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Anything else?
Let me just double check because I went up to the top. I think that's it. Yeah. Basically, it gives me whatever, regardless of the reagent, I get bonus hit points. There is the thing about the lesser restoration spell that doesn't use a spell slot, doesn't need to be prepared or anything. I'm just assuming that just if that's a thing that happens, I just get crystals. So I just can cast lesser restoration for crystals at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool. Crow.
Okay, so for Ranger, I do get a 7th level feature, Bond of Fang and Scale. It improves my drakes when they're summoned. They are now rideable by medium-sized creatures or smaller. Their weapons, their attacks deal an extra 1d6 damage, and I gain resistance to whatever damage type is currently out. So if Kalala's out, I gain resistance to lightning damage. If Koryoptal is out, I get resistance to fire damage and the like.
Fabulous. I love it.
And then for 7th level, Druid doesn't give anything. 8th level, I'm going to grab the skill expert feat. And the skill that I'm going to be choosing is perception, and I'm just going to choose to expertise in perception, because as I've been traveling around trying to suss out, oh god, flashbacks, trying to search out my fellow kin, had me to have a more keen eye of the areas that I'm going to, and be more aware of my surroundings. So,
fabulous. I love it. As you're out in the wilderness, that will be very useful.
Mm-hmm.
God knows I love a good perception check.
Oh, honestly. After that, that'd be about it. 9th level, I get nada from both. I also forgot to mention the funny doubling up of land stride from now Ranger. So I have it both from Druid and Ranger. Just
okay, and land stride, that's the one that gives you you don't have, you're not affected by difficult terrain.
Yeah, non-magical terrain doesn't affect, doesn't cost extra movement. I can pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them or taking damage in the case that they have thorns or some other similar hazardous effect. And I have advantage against saving throws, magical plants that are created or manipulated to impede my movement.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is, because that gets doubled up, and because we've decided it has to do with the wind,
mm-hmm.
I'll also give you advantage on any athletics check for jumping.
Okay.
Since you're connected to your touchstone is getting more powerful, and it's you can't levitate or anything like that, but you can give yourself a little boost with wind. All right, cool. So that is all right. So we are up to level 9. Fabulous. I think, all right, we've got 6 minutes left. There is.
It was a long one. A lot of stuff.
We've got descriptions, backgrounds. So, Ethul, which background are you picking?
Well, Ethul, I think I gave him Haunted one back in the day, okay, which essentially reflects his own insecurities with his own race.
Sure, and I think that absolutely works now, given that you have the most evil touchstone in existence. Right. So I think that works. What do you get with Haunted one?
I am trying to find it in this list here. I am struggling.
If you need some time, I can go real quick.
Fabulous. Lando,
yes,
what did you get?
Mine was Thrall, which I think was... The name doesn't really fit, but the description does. I'll just take my word for it. It's kind of related to slavery. And then my skill proficiencies were Insight and Persuasion. Insight in terms of, we talked about that being ability to read the mood of... Wow, I can't remember her name, but...
Matron Calaxia.
Yeah, Calaxia. And then Persuasion, to convince them that they didn't need to harm me for doing stuff, and to try to get out of trouble.
All right. Okay. Do you feel like those are still...
I think Insight still, Persuasion, because I'm kind of a fiend. No.
Yeah, is there another choice that you could make?
There isn't there, but we could force it somewhere else. On the sheet itself, They don't give me another one.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. We can do persuasion.
Maybe intimidation.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because
Yeah.
you've become much more powerful now. So that feeling of like persuading someone like someone in a lower power position, you are now one of the most powerful people on the planet. So
Yeah.
I don't know that would be so. But I could see. Okay, so now if persuasion, I could see if it is you're utilizing your sort of status now as as a touchstone holder, as a boost to your ability to get people to do what you want.
So not intimidation.
Yeah, I think persuasion, because also I don't think Diraxis is particularly intimidating.
No, I think this new patron is gonna adjust. It's gonna be.
There's a lot of things.
It's gonna be a pivot.
adjusted.
It's gonna be a pivot. Let's just say that.
Yeah. All right, fabulous. Hey, Crow.
My background was also Thrall due to the storied history of orcs in non-Ked, and so I got insight and persuasion as the.
Do we want to keep that as your background?
I'm honestly contemplating it. The one thing that I really liked about the background and continue to is kind of the solidarity background feature that comes with that there's an unspoken kinship with all people who've like lived in servitude, especially with the fact that Crow right now is focusing on kind of.
I think that's no longer Crow at all, and I think there is a better background to show what Crow is now to his people, which is
a folk hero. That's the other one I was thinking of. So I'm down with both of them. So
yeah, why don't we shift to folk hero, because there is no longer any subservience. The orcs have left non-Ked. There's literally no orcs left in non-Ked. Right. They all either fled or were killed. And so now non-Ked is a country of essentially one undead thing and a whole bunch of warforged.
Nice.
So
So now that you say that, I kind of realized that the same thing kind of has happened to Diraxis.
Yeah.
Like
no, Galaxy is no longer controlling the Drow.
Yeah.
Many of them have come up to the surface and are no longer worshiping Lolth. All of that good stuff. So we can absolutely shift Brawl for Diraxis. I would say for him, given the direction that you are going,
a civic scientist.
Yeah, so a Simic scientist, is that on there?
Yeah, I mean the name doesn't make sense, but the flavor of it is basically making. I mean, he basically helped make Zach into like a mutagen super soldier.
Yo.
Like that's kind of his thing. Is like fuck magic, we're going science, baby.
Yeah, 100%.
So that gives me arcane and medicine, which I think makes sense. Arcane in terms of knowing enough about magic to circumvent it, and then medicine to be like, how do I like the biology and that kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Maybe not like field medicine, but more like clinical biological kind of medicine. Yeah, and it gives me two languages. I guess I had undercommon for the other one, so I'm gonna keep undercommon. And maybe gnomish, because of the firearm thing. Is it going over there and talking? Or no, wait, they're not gnome. Wait, are they gnomes?
Yeah, they are gnome. Yeah, okay. Granny's a gnome.
So you learned gnomish from Granny, and Crow learned gnomish from Granny. Fabulous. So I feel like there's going to need to be a thing. I feel like since you love Granny so much,
I do.
And you will want to visit her on a regular basis. There is now with the help of Auliel, the Soul Dragon. You all have created hang gliders. And Aliel can help you. With Aliel's help, all of you can use your hang gliders to go over the mountains to Jarsai without having to travel through the mountains. So you can get there much quicker, even though the teleportation circles are gone. Mm-hmm. And essentially the way it'll work is that the dragon will, like, as your hang gliders start to go down, the dragon will just sort of like lift them up a bit again, and then go to the next one and lift it up a bit again, and then go to the next one, so that you can all fly all the way there until you get to Tempest, and then Tempest will just get you up on those hang gliders to the top of the floating island. So, all right, cool. So we've got a new public transportation service between Jarsai and Delver Stream. Very nice. All right, fabulous. Ithul, have you found your delightfulness?
Yes. It was in fact Haunted One. It
Fabulous.
grants the languages, but for that one, that's what just gave me my Dwarvish and Common. And then it gives you skill proficiencies. Back then I had chosen religion because his adopted father was a cleric, and investigation because he's a nosy bastard who wants to learn things about the world.
I love it. Makes me very happy.
All right. With Crow going over to Folk Hero, I do end up getting a skill and tool. The skill in this case is going to end up being definitely persuasion, as he's gonna need that on his kit to try to be the new leader for orc kind. And as for tools, alchemist supplies, trying to branch out his understanding of poisons to be in a more beneficial spin. The time for death and underhanded slaughter has come and gone. The time for innovation is nigh.
I love it. Makes me very, very happy. Okay, cool. Finally, so that's everything.
Yeah.
We already have plenty of equipment. We already know we've already got that, so we're not starting out. So we're not going to do starting equipment. There is first I want to go over safety tools, which is essentially we use lines and veils. So if there is anything that is a hard line with you that you don't want to see in the game at all, let me know now. The hard lines that we have in the game already are going to be no sexual assault, no rape, and no harm to children. The caveat with that being, if part of your backstory or if part of an NPC's backstory is that they lost a child, that's okay. We just don't need to hear about how it happened. The motivation of losing a child is plenty good there. Do you all, so let's start with Ithul. Do you have any hard lines?
Nope, I love it all.
Fabulous. What about you, Lando?
Yeah, not any that I can think of, no.
All right, awesome. And Shadane, what about you?
You called out all the ones I could care about.
Awesome. Fabulous. So that is easy. And so I know that there's been a lot of discussion about like session zeros and lines and veils and all that kind of stuff. That's how easy this is. It does not need to be a huge, long, drawn-out process, everybody. If you see stuff online that's like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. Notice that was 60 seconds or less of discussion about, oh, you don't want to see this? Totally fine. It's a fun game. We don't need to put that in there. There is, if there is ever a moment where there's something that we haven't mentioned, that suddenly you're like, oh shit, I cannot. I said, nope, I can't, nope. Whether it's you're having a weird day and you just, for some reason, you can't handle it, totally fine. You can always throw an X card. So you can either do it just visibly on screen, you can type it into chat, you can say X card, anything you'd like. We will just stop the scene immediately. We will rewind, and that scene will have never happened. so that we just don't need to deal with it at all, right? Because at no point should someone actively be traumatized on screen. So there is so now a caveat to that is, if you find something annoying, please do not throw an X card. Like, let us know afterwards that you found it annoying or something. This is specifically for things that are going to open up a trauma for you or are going to really distress you. And are there any other safety tools that you want to go over? No? Yeah? Are we good?
No, I think
Fabulous,
yeah.
yay. That's how easy it is to check in with players and be like, let's make sure everybody's having a good time. Let me see. Finally, we have got the 32 crystals. If anybody wants to throw some bits in to help expand crystals or subs or anything like that, last chance to do it to help our characters improve our players improve their characters. But for now, we've got 32 crystals. What do we want to do with those 32?
Wow. We could just go over to I have all these rules nicely made. 32 crystals? Wow. You can make a couple
Not
of
very much. Trust me, it's not.
Well, it's not a lot in terms of like one-off spells, but in terms of making magic items, that's plenty.
So,
like, 1, 2, 3.
The way that magic items are going to go is, if you all as a group decide that you want to create a magic item, you'll let me know what level, and we will choose randomly.
We can make 4. You said 32, right?
Yes.
We can make 4 rare items, one for each of us right now.
Could I have 2 crystals for fusion items? Or does that mess up the math?
It messes up. You could have 9 of the crystals and you can do whatever you want with them.
Well, so I think so. A rare item is 9, so you could do 3 rare items, and you would have 5 crystals left over.
Yeah. 32. Yeah, that's 4.
Because rare, so items go by 3, spells
30,
go by
my mistake. My brain did math wrong. So we could make 3 magic items and give the remaining crystals over to Daraxis for infusions.
Is that what we want to do?
Sure.
I'm down. I'm game.
Right.
Let's
I'd
roll
like
for
to
some
be able
magic
to cast
items.
magic, but sure.
You
Let's see
what?
what we get. I'm not what are the limit on the magic items?
So they will be rare magic items, and we are going to roll for them.
Oh.
To see what magic items we get.
Instead of rolling for one, can I use the 9 to empower my Mantle of Spell Resistance? It's a rare.
Oh.
Is that something we could do? Empower.
I thought we were going under like the pretense that like there would be 3 magic items divvied out, and the rest of the crystals would have gone to you for infusions.
Sure, that's fine. I can always do it later too. I mean,
unless
that's not the way we're doing it.
So this is a special thing that I'm doing just for character creation with these random items. They're going to be things that maybe were like in Delver's Dream and therefore did not get disempowered or something like that. It's going to be much harder to create a good solid magic item using crystals in the future. So this is just for today. If you want to like re-empower your like a rare item that gives you spell resistance in a world that has no spells left, that's going to be huge, because then you're fighting against both the suppression of magic, a deity, and like the physical manifestation of magic as well when you're doing it.
Quick question.
Yes.
Do I have a chance to make that weapon I asked you about?
You're gonna have to remind me.
The one that I was gonna make with the liquid creation and my shadow magic X / mithril saber.
Again, you're gonna have to get a little more specific. anything. So on any given week, I have 20 different meetings / streams where we are creating things, and I'm talking about vastly different things. So I'm not going to be able to hold everything in my head. That's like a thing that we might have discussed on Discord a couple of weeks ago. So I just need a little more information.
Cool. You get there?
Oh,
I lost.
Did we lose
Damian? Did we lose Damian into the void?
Right. That's like...
The void ain't our boy.
Sorry, getting back to what you were saying about the so you're saying that in theory I could use the 9 crystals or whatever the crystals were to his phone died.
I see.
To empower an item, but you're saying this one specifically because of the nature of it, there's complications.
No. What I'm saying is that this rate of crystal usage to create a magical item is only for today.
Gotcha.
So it's going to cost a lot of, essentially what it would be to create a magic item is you would have to be infusing something over and over and over and over and over again with that number of crystals over the course of either many days or weeks or months, depending on the rarity level of it, to actually force it to maintain that magic.
Okay.
So it's like, what I would say is like your Mantle of Spell Resistance, you could like reawaken the magic for a day for 9 crystals. But in order for you to be, that's a rare item, right?
Yeah.
So in order for you, so the whole point of this is it is going to be real fucking hard.
Sure.
For you to get magic items. It is going to be real hard for you to cast spells. But it's going to be that hard for everyone else too. Okay. So you're essentially being all put on the same level. So but I'm glad you asked that because we can now establish the rules for this right now.
And there's also some ambiguity too with my Artificer ability because creating magic items is a really part of the big kit. And so I don't know if there's like, if it's easier for me or whatever because of a class feature kind of thing. Nope. No, it's just, okay.
Nope. It is, so the things that you can do without magic are easier for you. Because the whole point of the character that you've created today is you're trying to get around the magic. So there's no reason that it would be easier for you to do the magic.
Sure.
While you're trying to get around it. So yeah, there is. So why don't we say for a common magic item, you would have to infuse 1 crystal every day for a week.
Oh, like for an infusion, essentially.
No.
Oh.
Your infusions are so for a common magic item.
Yep.
It would take 1 week to create it.
Okay.
So that would mean, like, if you are, so for instance, let's use Healing Potion, for instance. So a Healing Potion will stay enchanted for as long as you want it if you make it proper, right? What I'm going to say in this world is because of the suppression of magic, if you use a crystal to create a Healing Potion, it will last for 1 day. It will turn into a non-magical liquid.
Okay.
After a day. If you spend 1 week infusing a crystal every single day, then you can have a permanent Healing Potion. So the cost of magic items is going to skyrocket because it's going to take so much more effort. For an uncommon item, that's going to be a month. You're going to have to infuse the crystals every day for a month to get a permanent uncommon item. For a rare item, it's going to take you 6 months. For a very rare item, it's a full year that it's going to take. And for a legendary item, it's going to take a decade.
All right.
You have to infuse, what is it? There is, so 27, so it'd be 81. So you would have to infuse 81 crystals into a legendary item every day for 10 years to actually bring a legendary item back.
Oh, right. Okay. And then
There
you're saying
is-
specifically for today, we can get a random one that doesn't need to be continually infused because it was in Delver's Tree.
Yeah, so it'll just be something that you found there. So you can take your chances with that, or you can save the crystals for something else.
Okay. And
What would you like to do?
sorry, again, there's just a lot of moving pieces, so I just want to make sure I understand, because the infusions are an important part of my character. I want to just make sure. And so for the infusions, it's if I wanted to make, let's say, boots of whatever, and they're uncommon.
Oh, I will say, like we said before, so depending on the level, it is you have to infuse them once, and then you personally are maintaining that energy.
Okay.
So you have it once.
Gotcha.
As long as you keep it, you're good.
Perfect. Okay. But ones that aren't infusion, that's the whole month, the year, the whole thing.
Yes, because
Gotcha.
infusions and magic items are totally different.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry for the... Cool. Yes, sure.
So
Let's
what
just
would we
roll.
like to do?
Let's just roll. Let's see what
All right.
happens.
Fabulous. So, hey, chat. What I'm going to need from you, chat, is first I'm going to need a D12. And we can look at the first 3 and players you can choose from which D12. So if we could do exclamation point D12. Mike, I'm glad you made it to class on time and you immediately got on your phone to come.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
love you, Mike.
Priorities.
Priorities in place.
All right, so we got a 9, we got a 2, and do we have a third D12? If we don't get a third D12 in a couple seconds, then you can choose which one would you like, a 9 or 2?
9.
A 9,
Okay.
Fabulous. All right, let's go to page 9. My computer's being very slow right now, so it might take me a minute to get over there. There is, here we go, page 9. All right, and now I need a D20. Who wants to roll me a D20? Anybody? Anybody? And
See what
while
chat's
we're doing
doing?
that, yes, everybody please hit exclamation point raffle to be entered in the raffle for fabulous Phoenix dice.
Got a 6.
All right, we've got a 6, we've got a 4. Which would you like, a 6 or a 4?
I'll go with 4.
A 4. All right, let's look at this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fun. A ring of free action.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hey, I had one of those.
Freedom of movement. You essentially, difficult terrain does not cost you extra movement, and you can never, magic can neither reduce your speed nor cause you to become paralyzed or restrained.
Want to give more movement onto the board with so much movement?
Right.
Put more movement on the
I know,
board.
this would be great for Gorf
Yeah.
in the other campaign. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect. Fabulous. So we have a ring of free action. Now I need. Give me another D12, please. Let's see what we get next. D12. D12. And players, you can also roll D12s if you'd like.
Okay.
So let's jump in there. All right, we've got a 4. We've got a 2. And we've got a 7. All right, fabulous. 4, 2, or 7.
See 7.
Which one would we
I
like?
think 7.
A
Lucky number 7.
All right, let's look at 7. And now roll me a D20, please. Let's see which one we want.
Another 7.
So we've got a 7. What else do we have? Just a 7?
Maybe.
All right.
It might just be a 7. Oh,
All
14.
right. Oh, a 14.
18.
And an 18.
Yeah, 6.
7, 14, 18.
You
7,
pick
14, 18.
again.
What?
Or I'll
What do we like? 7, 14, or 18?
14.
14. All right, let's see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Ooh, it's a potion. The potion of etherealness.
Oh,
Ooh.
sorry, I actually meant 7.
Oh my god.
If we want to try 7, I will allow it.
That'd be nice. I mean, not gonna lie.
6, 7. Ooh, this is interesting. Mizium armor.
Busy of armor.
Suit of armor is reinforced with magically enhanced metal alloy called Mizium, which is made in Izzet foundries. While you're wearing the armor, any critical hit against you becomes a normal hit. In addition, when you are subjected to a magical effect, which allows you to make a strength or constitution saving throw, you take only half damage. You instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw. That's fun. So you are immune to critical hits, and strength and constitution saving throws, you get no damage. So that's ridiculous.
It's like better adamantine armor.
Yep. There is, you've got, and it's either medium armor or heavy armor. So you can make it whatever you'd like. Fabulous. All right, I'm going to need 3 more D12s.
All right, I'll throw a D12 in this bucket.
Ooh.
That's a 3. My sister's favorite number.
I love it. We've got a 7.
Now that we're doing this, I'm kind of regretting not rolling on, because I might have totally missed it. I didn't realize that the conversion was special for today only. So we
7.
missed
All right, so 7, 10, or 1. Which one are we gonna pick?
Numero uno.
All right, going all the way back. Now I need D20s. Let's see what we get, shall we? All right, we've got 9.
Just D20.
Oh,
Just a 9. Just the 9. All right, we got a 9. We've got a 9. We've got a 9. We've got a 15.
I feel like the universe is saying that we should do 9.
Or 13. Sorry?
I feel like the universe is saying we should do 9.
Let's see 9. Let's see what 9 gives us.
Let's do 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, some more armor. This is good. Armor of resistance. You have resistance to 1 type of damage while you wear this armor. The DM chooses it, or we can choose randomly from below. Let's do random. Roll me a D10, please. And we will look at the top 3. So 1. Any others? A D10. A D10. Not a D20, a D10.
D10. 3.
A 6 or a 3. Okay, fabulous. So you can choose from acid, fire, or necrotic. Which one would you like?
Fire.
Yeah, fire.
Fire.
Fire. Fabulous. So you have gotten Mizium armor, armor of resistance, and a ring of free action. Or ring of freedom of movement. Is it? Sorry, which one? Ring of free action?
Free action.
Thank you. It gives you freedom of movement. It's the ring of free action. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those, and then it got disenchanted.
Yeah, that happened.
I love it, and that gives you 5. That gives you 5 crystals left over. Okay. So that's what you have to begin your campaign with. Who is going to take the ring of free action?
I don't need it.
I mean, I'll take it if no one wants it.
I'll take the Mizium armor if no one's clamoring for it.
Mizium armor for you, you say?
Yeah.
Can you? Oh, you're a ranger, so you can wear medium armor. Fabulous.
Yep, medium armor.
Armor of resistance.
I don't know if the artificer get. Oh wait, I do. I could do the resistance.
All right, fabulous. Well, figure out what kind of armor it is, because it can be light, medium, or heavy armor. So any kind that you want that'll work with your character build. So that's delightful. Yay! All right, cool. That is session 0. We are ready to go with the campaign. I think one of the things that we are going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is we are just going to be sort of exploring what the world looks like now. So it's going to be getting into sort of what you all are doing over the course of the first month. See anything? So before we get into any heavy action, I think I'm going to wait until July before we get into any sort of like major battles or anything. But yes, so for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be exploring this new place that has no magic and seeing how that has affected everything. So that would be super exciting. Are you excited?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. It'll be fun. It'll be crazy.
I'm super happy about the way that this has gone, that like the way that your characters are developing and shifting based on the experiences that they've had in the world. I love that we've got a lab underneath the tavern. That's where that exists now. That's so delightful. So yeah, but you will also have access to all the things that you've always had access to in Delver Streams. So the greenhouse is still there, the scrying table is still there, all of that good stuff is still there, so you can still go and see what's happening, what's going on. You can study in the libraries. All of that is still there. None of that is affected by the magic suppression. And you can still go get your Heroes Feast every day if you want to. So that's delightful. Yay. Well, thank you all for being here today. And I want to shout out our fabulous sponsors once more. We've got D&D Beyond, who we absolutely adore. There's Gem Firefly, who is the merch for all of our fake stuff. So the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming. Definitely go and check them out and say hi. Realm Warp Media is the publisher for all of our magnificent mythologies, which is through the Foundation. Souls Rolls is amazing. They do incredible work helping people to move through obstacles in both their life and their business. A big thing that they are a huge proponent of is avoiding burnout, which you can go to their website right now and see a fabulous article on how to do that. And of course, Phoenix Dice, who we love because they make everything from recycled materials, because they love the world we live in just as much as the world we play in. And finally, of course, Hero Forge, who we adore, making fabulous, fabulous creations in 3D to help us visualize all of the amazing characters that we are creating like we did today on stream. So now, let's see who won some Phoenix Dice.
Yeah,
Drum roll, please.
Closing it out. And the winner is Cotton Candy Unicorn.
Send me a note in Discord and I will set you up with some fabulous Phoenix Dice. Yay, and now we are going to raid into one of our fabulous other streams that is out there. We're going to jump up into Mendari right now, who is a member of the Rolling Together stream team. We are also a fabulous member of the Rolling Together stream team. And if you'd like to learn more about that, you can head to Twitch/Teams/Rolling Together and learn everybody that's on the stream team and go support them because they're all delightful and they make us happy. So yes, remember, when we raid into another channel, we tell them what we're bringing to the potluck. I am going to be bringing magic crystals.
Cotton Candy Unicorn has gifted their winnings to Kyle.
Oh my God, am I gonna get my first set of Phoenix Dice? I've given away like 100 set of Phoenix Dice, and I'm finally gonna get one all my very own. Thank you so much, Cotton Candy. That's amazing.
I guess Kyle's bringing dice to the potluck. Okay.
I am bringing fabulous Phoenix Dice to the potluck. I love it. Thank you all for being here. This was so fabulous, and I can't wait to see you on Friday for our next magnificent mythologies. We will see you then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.